Well, good morning, everybody. We've got some lovely soft background music going on for those times when I don't say too much. And it is currently 57 degrees here in southern Arizona on this Saturday before the end of October, October 25th. Don't know why I didn't want to say October 25th, but here we are. I am going to take a look at some Retevis radios that I got in from the Amazon Returns program. A lot of people ask me, how do you get the Amazon returns? In order to do this, you develop a long-standing relationship with a vendor. Takes about, I don't know, 5 to 6 years or so, and you keep asking very politely without nagging, and eventually they may say, okay, and we'll take care of it. What happens with Amazon returns is when you buy something from Amazon and you decide that you don't like it for whatever reason. I like to try and figure out what that reason might have been, just an assumption, a guess, zero judgment, I don't care. But it's fun to kind of do the forensics, and you go about returning it. You have this return window where you can return it back to Amazon, and most of the time there's free shipping on the return. So it's very little friction to return it other than having to like take it to the UPS store or print a label and take it to a UPS drop-off location or something along those lines. So you get those returns. Amazon takes those returns and then they just kind of stick them off on the side. And after a while they have a pile of them, so big. Good morning, Bill. And what does Amazon do with them? Amazon doesn't know what a GMRS radio is and what to do with it and how to test it. They don't. It's not that they're not smart enough to figure it out. It's that it's not their job to figure it out. It's kind of like it's not the bank's job to sell a house. It's the bank's job to foreclose on the house that someone didn't make a payment on, and then give it back to a real estate agent to fix it and get it on the market. So it's just not Amazon's job, and that's totally fine. So what they do is they say, we're going to throw these things away and you're going to lose 100% of Mr. Manufacturer. You're going to lose 100% of your investment in this device. So if you bought this radio and let's say this radio cost $5 to manufacture for a number and you're selling it for $100, kind of the way iPhones work. They cost about 25 bucks to manufacture and they sell for about $1,000. You just lost $5 and you sell it for $100, you just lost $95 plus all of the employee effort and input and so on and logistics and blah blah blah. So you've lost an amount of money in this deal. So then they say, would you like us to ship them back to you? I'm sure they charge to ship them to the destination for repair, so there's a cost there. Then you can't sell these as brand new. I believe there's some kind of law in the United States that says I can't take this thing, walk out of the store unopened, still taped shut, still sealed, walk back in the store and return it and have them go, okay, sure, and put it back on the shelf. That passed probably 15 years ago or so. So there's this whole reverse logistics thing out there that I used to work for a company that did reverse logistics. We'll take the returns, we'll verify they're okay, and we'll send them back. In the case of something where I walked out of the store and had only, just walked out, walked back in, never opened the box, you can actually resell that right away. You don't have to check it out or anything because they didn't open the box, so there's nothing going on there. But if you did open it, like an iPad or something, and you signed into your Apple account, you signed into your Google account, you loaded some apps on it, you dropped it, you broke the screen, you scratched it, those kinds of things, that all needs to be accounted for in the rehabilitation of the item, the renewal process, the refurbishment process. And so all of these things are involved. And then the company that had the device originally needs to make some money. So technically I have bought these, and the way I buy them is they come to me. If I can fix them, I sell them. If I sell them, then I have a certain amount of money that I need to give back to Retevis, and then I get to keep everything else above that. And so there's my cost. So I have to repair them. I have to know what it is that I'm doing. I have to ship them out. I have to collect the payment. I have to pay processing fees on top of the payment, and the margins are super slim on some of these. So my margin on this is like $5. So if I can fix this real quick for, if I can get all 5 of these done in an hour, then I may have made something. I don't know. But really, I hate having stuff that works go into a landfill without ever being realistically used by anybody. So these are all GMRS radios. We're going to take a look at them and we're going to get into this real quick. And I'm space constrained. So we'll move that out of the way. And now that I moved it out of the way, I need to turn on my overhead, which is that one. Nope, that's not that one. That's the Windows computer that we'll need for programming. That's the overhead. And then I need to switch the view over. There we go. That one looks okay. That one looks a little bit better, and it's still not the overhead. Oh, I know why it's not the overhead. Trying to do all this stuff live is fun. That's why it's not the overhead. Now we can get that camera view back. All right, awesome. And we can bring the chat back on my side. All this behind the scenes stuff. Let's see who else showed up. Who else showed up? This ADHD Life. Good morning, Brian. And why is it doing that? That should be over there. Good morning. 45 Auto. Good morning. Alabama Andrew. Good morning. I said hi to Bill Cooley. Good morning. LC, I said hi to you. I did just math on air. It's a thing. Too many radios, not enough time. Exactly. What can you do with your 900th radio that you have? Yeah. This always got me, LC. He says, I hate when they say the carton must be undamaged to return when it's a blister pack. Like I couldn't have evaluated whether or not the thing was suitable to task without opening it up. They set the terms. I am paying them too much, but they set the terms. And it's fun, so I do it. You need your GMRS ID on a patch for your hat. I do. I need to do that one of these days. Brian Hendricks, member for 33 months. Thank you. Level Tech message. 6 POTAs yesterday. That is indeed a full day. Congratulations, sir. Brad, good morning. Dave, good morning. Tim, good morning. We've got Jason Lockwood. Yeah. All right. Look forward to working you on HF someday. Carl, put me in ham alert, and that is how you will find out when I am on the air. I do POTA to get on the air most of the time, and then I'll do some FT8 stuff when I'm trying to figure out how to make a radio FT8, and then you'll see me that way. That's the easiest way to work me. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, did you see that? That one changed to Ilunts from Retevis. Retevis Ilunts. Yeah. So this is the only one that says Ilunts on it. That's number 4. And that there is number 5. And what I like to do, just for my own memory's sake, is I like to take and put the number of the radio on it. So I have some way of tracking these things and knowing which one did what and how it all worked out. So let's do 1, 2, 3. This here is a barcode for when it is sitting on the shelf in the Amazon warehouse. These things just sit naked on the shelf. It's just a box, and Amazon doesn't know what it is. This is LPN is license plate number, and they can scan that with a barcode reader, and it says, this is the one you want. And it also says the location in the warehouse and so on. And they're little Amazon robots that go around. They literally are robots. I'm not making fun of people that go around and pick up these things and move them out to the shipping locations for them to be fulfilled into your crazy little hands. So I'm going to put these 5 boxes on the floor out of the way. And then I need my keyboard and my mouse back, and I need to switch over to my screen share. There we go. And what I need to do is I need to figure out what all is supposed to come in these boxes. So we'll get that page sized up. That page is sized up, and that page is sized up. Okay, cool. So the reason why I have the MB1 up is I also have these MB1 CB radios for sale. And there is a link in the description down below for where to go and see what the price is on these and what all the other things are for sale that I have. And if you want one of these, let me know, and we'll take it from there to make sure that we get these things into your hands. But send a PayPal for the amount, and then we'll hopefully, if all goes well, all 5 of these radios will be gone, and so will all of these CB radios. These CB radios come with an antenna. That's the MR500 antenna that you see there, and it's a mag mount base SO239 connection, and it's a 2-piece deal. So I tried to mute. Sorry about that. And these ones here you can open up onto the ham bands, and they are free of spurious emissions. I have a couple of videos coming out on these because it's actually relatively easy to open them up. Most of your CB radios are designed to be opened up. So enough of that diversion. But here is the HA1G. I believe these are all black. We're going to find out if we get the Moto green color. They sell for $77.99 currently. You can find them for various discounts all around. I'm looking to get $40 out of these to cover all of the costs and everything. What do we have in the box is the question. There's package. Maybe it's in the package section. No, that's package deals. That's not helpful. Features. It's IP67 waterproof. It has high and low power. We'll test out power output. It's part of the process to make sure that the thing works. 2800 milliamp battery, Type-C charging, 30 GMRS channels, 226 customizable channels. It will receive on the ham bands, and we'll get into that in a little bit, because it will receive on the ham bands because it is actually the same radio as the Retevis HA1UV. So HA1G for GMRS, HA1UV for UHF, VHF. And there's a way to toggle back and forth between the two modes and open them up. As ham radio operators with an actual ham radio license, we are allowed to convert any radio to work on the ham bands. Once it's converted, it can only work on the ham bands, and we must verify spurious emissions and keep it all clean. But you can't take that radio that you converted and then use it on GMRS. You have to deconvert it. So that MB1 radio that I showed you earlier, that is a CB radio, once it's converted over to 10 and 12 megahertz, it can't be run on 11 megahertz anymore. It will still transmit there, but you can't technically do it. So buy local, sell local, trade local. Robert, exactly. I would love to. How many watts for the CB and the price? The price is in the description down below. I don't want to say it because I don't remember it exactly. I don't want to get it wrong and then, shortchange both of us. But the watts, it is 4 watts on CB, and I want to say it's like 8 to 10 watts on ham radio. And I'm keeping one of them because I like it, and I have this idea that I want to do a box that's got a UV radio, a GMRS radio, and a CB, because they have that body in 3 different radios. Hey, Jim has joined. Good morning, Jim. I'll let you add yourself to the stream when you're ready. There he is. Say hi, Jim. I have no audio from you. That might be his fault. So I forgot where I was. Jim got me all verklempt. What was I talking about? I was talking about buy local, sell local, trade local. Oh, the watts for the CB. Yeah, it converts. I can hear you now. It converts over to CB, and it puts out more power when it converts over to CB. Yeah. And LC cheated. He got the 7100. So I'm trying to figure out what all comes in the box for these radios, Jim.
You got to have a mic on. It works better with a microphone.
That does help.
Which is just crazy pants.
So I have no indication of what comes in the box. That's going to make it easy, because if it doesn't have an indication of what comes in the box, then you can't, oh, darn it. I say you can't yell at me for shortchanging you.
What are we looking at? So it looks like it comes with the standard kit and the cable, more importantly.
The cable is the weird thing, because some of these, the one that I opened up yesterday just to check it out, did have a cable in it. And I wanted to make sure that, what's it called? That it wasn't like a special cable, because sometimes on the review side of things, we'll get a cable that isn't actually in the box. So now I know what's in the box, and we'll have to verify. So we've got manual. That's not listed on the display up above my head, but I'm sure it comes with a manual. And these manuals are usually pretty light. One gotcha for GMRS radios is that they come pre-programmed with channels. So you can see the channel list there. And usually they have tones on them, and Retevis tones don't match Radiodity's tones, don't match Midland's tones. So even though the radios are fully compatible, you can't key up on one and listen on the other unless you actually know that. And they're trying to do it so that you only buy Retevis radios, because all the Retevis radios work together. This one doesn't appear to have that, but we'll find out. So there's the programming cable.
One of the big takeaways with those cables, and this will make you crazy, is, and Tio and I have talked about this a long time ago, some of the radios are the COM port, and the cable is just a stupid wire. It's just wires.
Yes.
And some of them, the radio ain't a COM port, and it needs a cable that is the COM port. And generally,
it's got this big blob in it.
That's a COM port. That cable is a COM port. If you plug a straight K cable into that radio, it probably won't do nothing. It needs a COM cable.
Yeah. So USB, and then there's a USB to RS-232 adapter inside of this big blob instead of it being, that's why it's so big. And then this one, I want to say this is a GP386 connector. It's the Motorola style connector, but I forget the actual name. Maybe it's a GM.
I call it a Moto connector.
Yeah.
Your overhead camera is potato quality. You are clear and looking pretty
Yeah.
fabulous, but
Best I can do. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I have enough upload speed. So it said 2800 milliamp hour battery. We have a 2800 milliamp hour battery. This is a rugged radio design. We've got the belt clip. We've got somebody plugged it in. We've got the USB wall wart. We've got the USB-C charging with the green flare. And
like
we
flare.
have a desk cradle. So this is showing a different antenna than what came in the box.
Are these the returns, the refurbs?
Yeah, these are the returns that may or may not need refurbishment. So this one has just about everything it needs in the box. I'm going to put this back in the box and set it aside. We'll do all the box checkout first to see if I'm missing any parts. And then we'll move on to next segment. And this is probably going to get really messy really fast. You can see how the
it's
sausage
5 o'clock.
is made.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Mike.
Yeah.
Jason is asking how many watts that bad boy is. What is that, 5? Probably.
Let's see. Yeah, because there's limits on GMRS. And we'll move. Thank you. We'll move that overhead.
I'm not just a pretty face.
Not just a pretty face.
That's right.
Color display. Spec. Maybe it's on the spec tab. Long 14.7 inch SMA male antenna spec. So that's not the antenna that we have, but that's okay. Millivolts. I was all excited. 12 watts? What? And part of that is actually limited by the FCC, the amount of power you can have directly in front of your face. So 5 watts at this distance is okay, but 10 watts at this distance is bad for you. Yeah, like the most important thing would be the amount of power it puts out, and they don't tell you. Awesome. So it's going to be really easy to meet the spec of greater than 0. But I'd assume 5 watts. We'll test it out. All right, back to that picture. Maximize that picture, and then we'll switch the overhead back. Radio number 2. Manual, radio, battery, antenna, belt clip, screws for the belt clip, charger, USB cable, base. All right, looks like we are all in on this one. Manual. Oh, no, we didn't have a programming cable in that one.
Nope. Is that the same radio as the last one? I didn't. Looks like
they're all the same. All 5 of these are exactly the same. So no programming cable in this one. We'll put this one up on the side here. And that means we'll probably forget that I moved it out of the way.
And a pro tip, if you will allow me to turn off the camera 1 second.
Jim's got a wardrobe change.
No, I just don't want y'all seeing my crotch when I stand up because I respect y'all guys too much. I'm sensitive and whatnot.
Is there not a lanyard in this one also? Oh, man.
These are...
There it is.
These are awesome.
Hang on, let me get you screened up so people can see you.
Screen me up. There you go. So
the octopus cable.
You can find these on Amazon, and it's USB with the serial port in the connector, right? And then pretty much every stinking end you can possibly think of. And this was, I don't know, maybe 20 bucks, 25. And you'll notice it has 2 of the, I'm using air quotes, K-style connectors. Because I don't know the differences, but the spacing on these things is not exactly the same. And I have seen some radios that use different spacing than the other one. But this is great to have, because if you're like me, you've got 700 HT cables. I don't know which one went to which, and I get tired of keeping up with them. So.
All right. So this one here, it came with the dust cover. It looks like it's waterproof without the dust cover on it. Disconnected. So somebody got this one out of the box, programmed it. It still has the screen protector on it. So it's a little chewed, but they at least tried to use it. Yeah, and even if you do screw that down all the way, there's still an air gap. You might be able to catch the light if the camera's participating. So that one has everything in it, including the programming cable. That's number 4. Yes, ICOM and Ken. There's an M connector and there's a K connector. The M connector is closer together. And then
so that must be what those are, because they're
Yeah.
visibly different on those two.
Yeah. And then Yaesu even has a single pin version instead of a 2-pin version. So that. Looks like they're all there for number 5. Excellent. And I have some notes on the side there, Jim, if you want to see what all we're playing with too. Mike.
Okay.
Smaller K connector is for the Yaesu. Yep, that's the M. The FT4XR, HR, HT, and the connector for it looked to be Baofeng, but it is a little smaller. Okay, cool. So Mike, by the way, just started up channel memberships on his channel. Go check out N2MAK on YouTube. He's actually a funny guy to watch. I like watching him. And Hamshack TV, that's Josh's channel, I believe. Cold brew. I like it.
Yeah. That was up there a while ago, but you were
Heads down. Heads down. All right, I'm going to go back and do these in order. Just because.
Well, I've been getting Statler and Waldorf in my text messages from a certain subject in a northeast territory of the United States.
He's here. He's watching.
Yeah, I know he's here. He's texted me. He's already texted me. He's like, Saturday morning, you and T.O., is this that other show? I put our banner up. This is not that other show.
No, it is not. All right, so these are available for if they all work out and they all check out, $40, PayPal friends and family, HA1G in the memo field, and then the form is in the description so I can get your address and everything. So let's take this one out and turn it on and see what happens. And I need to take that battery clip off. So it wasn't left in the on mode. Let me get my screwdriver out and get that battery clip off, because that's going to get in the way of a bunch of things. Where can I put this? And then when we're done, I'll put all the tools that I use in the description as well. And I'll send them out in this is kind of like a mini Nuggets episode. I'll send them out in the Nuggets chat on the Discord, which is linked at the top of the YouTube chat. So you can join over there if you're not already over there. And Jim, I have no idea how long this is going to take. So I have, if you hadn't noticed, the background screen is like, we'll be right back. So if one or both of us needs to disappear and come back later, that's fine.
I have been working with Pi-hole and Unbound and Docker this morning, trying to get my Pi-hole Unbound Docker instance all working correctly.
What is Unbound? I know what Pi-hole is.
So Unbound is, I'm going to say this wrong. I know what it does, but Unbound runs on an alternate port. And so instead of Pi-hole going to an external DNS, or it gives you recursive DNS lookups on your Pi-hole. So if Pi-hole doesn't have the website, for some random website, instead of going to Cloudflare or Google or Quad9 or wherever, it hits Unbound on your back end, and then Unbound goes to the root and searches down from there. So every 6 months, once or twice a year, you should probably update your root server list. But what it does is enhances your privacy of your DNS searches. So if you're looking for something sketchy, and I won't mention the Canadians that may or may not be in the chat, then it kind of shields you a little bit from the man being able to track your DNS. I mean, it's not the ultimate solution, but it also supports DNSSEC or DNS over HTTPS and some other stuff.
So there's no screen protector on this. The screen lights up. I can kind of see the backlight is off, but the text is still on the screen. Sometimes you can see that on radio, sometimes you can't. This is 462/600, and it's got a DCS tone of 743. So now I got to figure out how to turn the DCS tone off.
I just posted your for sale list in the Nuggies.
Awesome. Thank you. Display mode, key function, audio. Signaling? Well, hold on. Signaling common setting. PTT ID or decode setting. I'm trying to find the tones to turn the tones off. Call tone?
And Mike has dropped a $5 super chat. Says, thanks for being awesome, fellas. Appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you for being awesome, Mike. FM radio, weather, factory reset. I don't want to do the factory reset yet. We haven't done enough forensics yet. How do I turn the tones off?
And
Audio?
I'm playing FT8, so, you know.
Oh, you can work Jim. Cool. WT1W on the FT8s.
I'm on 15 meters. 15 meters is on fire with Europe. I've gotten a ton of European stations this morning.
Zones. Channel. Select. Oh, okay. So you got to go deep into the channel. So in order to do it, I had to go into the settings menu. Then I had to go into the channel menu. Then I had to pick a channel. And now I can come in here and I can do CTCSS DCS. And this is the RX CTCSS. And this has a twirly knob on top. So I can twirl up to 0. I think. I cannot twirl up to 0. There is no 0. There's a CTC. So you can do digital squelch control or sub-audible squelch control.
But you can't disable it?
Haven't gotten that far yet. I think I might have to go all the way around the Horn of Africa. There it is. None. Save. Menu key again. Okay. Well, that got rid of the one on transmit. There we go. So the up and down arrow moves you left and right.
Hamstick, where are you at that they let you in a 5-star hotel?
I mean, anybody can walk in the lobby, right?
Are you
Till they
someone's
kick you
boy
out.
toy? I'm afraid. I mean, I'm like, they let Eric in a nice hotel?
There it is. None. So none and none. Save, confirm. Okay, so now we have no tones. So now if I transmit 467, 6000. Oh, there's an offset still. I got to go back in and do that. Channel, alpha. And there's probably, I probably should just pick a different channel, but I'm all in now.
That's right. Keep going down that rabbit hole all the way. Jonathan, thank you for the $20 super chat.
Thank you,
Thanks
Jonathan.
for clearing up which show this was.
Okay.
Somewhere in
I don't know if I
Asia,
can
he
change
says.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to
So
change the transmit frequency.
So he is someone's boy toy in a fancy hotel. I knew it.
And all I can do is select transmit frequency and see it. I can't actually set it. So I need to have my other radio set on 467 6000 in order to hear it. So 4, 6,
Or
7. What?
You could turn on your tiny SA with a 10 dB attenuator and the stick antenna and just see what keys up on it without having to change frequencies on the other radio is what I was getting at.
Right. So let's test it out. Testing, 1, 2, 3. It's trying on low power. Oh, duh. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm receiving on the radiodity. You can see the RSSI WRNY 996 for ID. And then when I let go, the RSSI goes away, so no more received signal strength over there. Let's turn the volume up. Yep, we can hear it.
Yep, that works.
And now I need to do this the other way. 462 6000. Testing and return. Testing and return. Yep. No code. I can hear it. There's no microphone overload going back and forth. Cool. All right. So it works on transmit and receive. Let's check out the notes. What else do we need to do? I don't see any reason why this, like, so far it works. I'm going through the menus. Everything's fine. It has all its parts. It transmits. It receives. Let's do
what I think,
power.
What I think happens with a lot of these, short of maybe a power issue, is that, and I've seen this on some GMRS radios I've gotten, because that's a GMRS radio, right?
It is, yes.
They have tones set on everything.
Yep.
It comes from the factory with tones enabled on everything, which may be some kind of standard, but
it's not. I got to make a video on it.
And if you're a new GMRS guy, you know, maybe you don't have a ham license. Maybe you just got GMRS. Maybe you want to
Don't
give
know
the
what
fam
tones are.
GMRS.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is this tone thing? And you have no idea. And you're sitting there, you're explaining it. Here's how it works. You're explaining this to your wife. Baby, we got these cool radios. I've got us a license. So we don't have to, which one license to rule the entire family. We can use these. It's legal, and they're better radios than that crap at the Walmart in the blister pack. And she's already raising an eyebrow up at you. You know this is happening. And then you turn on the radios, and you're like, look, baby, look how well this works. And you key up, and the other radio doesn't do nothing except sit there. Yep. And then she looks at you, raises both eyebrows, and calls you a dork.
And she'd be right.
I mean, not that that's ever happened to me. I'm just saying, but.
No, Jim's not speaking from experience.
No, not at all.
Direction. I should get out my SMA wrench and do this. So I'm trying to make sure that the connections are tight because that does matter. You're going to see an SWR number on here, which is probably going to be a little ridiculous. And it might be a little more ridiculous than usual. And that's because I'm in a metal box. And I learned this. I was in a hotel trying to figure out if an antenna worked. And the signal was bouncing back off of the rebar inside of the concrete. So literally, you're broadcasting into the metal. The metal's reflecting, like metal does, the signal back at you into your antenna. So my SWR readings inside the metal box, the RV that I live in, are,
sus.
Not good. Yeah. So let's key up on this and figure out 6.25 watts. And the SWR is not terrible.
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
It's 1.34. Okay.
This upper corner is the watts. I don't know why this shows you SWR high and watts. Like the big number is the SWR number, 1.34, and that's 6.16 watts. And 467.6 on the frequency counter that's built into this. This is a pretty cool little meter. The one that I have comes with an extra ground plane also, which kind of helps, kind of doesn't. So it puts out the right amount of power, no problem there. Now if I can get the antenna back out now that I've tightened it up. And if you guys have a Leatherman that you carry with you, you wind up using it on everything. Every single project.
I have never gotten into carrying one like on my person. I have my EDC loadout, but I've never carried a Leatherman. Now, that being said, I got one in a laptop bag. I got one in the desk drawer.
Yeah.
In multiple places, I have random, and most of them are off-brand multi-tools, but...
Mike, I wish I could put tones on for my wife. That would be awesome. My wife is
Right.
I love her. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But she's one of those people that just talks out loud, stream of consciousness talking. And I'm the only other person in this 300 square foot space. So of course I think she's talking to me. I mean, it's weird for me to assume that. But your Gerbers are nicely. I've got a Gerber too, but it's a little bigger than the Leatherman, and I've had the Leatherman longer. That's all. Okay, so all that stuff works. Let's get a little risky here. Let's try the programming cable. And so I don't know if she's talking to me, and heaven forbid if I develop the ignore muscle, and she is actually talking to me at one point, and I'm not listening. But the Leatherman is not the right tool for the job, but you happen to have it with you all the time. And so it becomes the right tool. And I used to run a ranch. I used to raise livestock, and I used it like, repairing fences and so on. If you guys have one of these, this is the Leatherman Wave. It's actually you're probably a good group to ask. There is a cutout notch, and maybe that's for stripping very tiny wires and the camera's not picking up on it. But there's a cutout notch in the back of the cutter tool. Huh. Is that supposed to be there or not?
Can you hold that up to your other camera? That one is just, I mean, it's like you don't have enough USB bandwidth or something.
That actually could be it. No? This is straight USB-C into USB-C on the laptop. There's nothing in between. Yeah, so there's a little notch in the bottom side of the cutter tool here. And I don't know if it's supposed to be there or not. It looks like it's factory. So good for stripping very tiny wires. And then they'll bite you. They'll bite you right there if you don't respect them. And I've done that plenty of times. Crunch.
I've done that. I've done that with regular needle nose pliers if I'm trying to needle nose something and I got my finger way up too high and pinch the daylight out of it.
All right, so we were going to try some some programming. Oh, the cable goes in upside down. I hate that. I don't know what the right side or the wrong side is, but I'm not a fan. All right, so I need to switch this to get my computer. And the computer went to sleep, I think.
And Cisco use...
That's LC Liberty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. That's his little logo. LC has dropped a 762 super chat. What percentage of your Amazon radios were unsalvageable?
So far, that answer is 0. All right, I need... Yes, this is Windows, unfortunately, because state-of-the-art for ham radio programming software is about 1998.
Tim EL64 said that notch is supposed to be there.
Thank you.
But what is it for?
I think that's actually Troy. I called him Tim earlier. So hi. I said hi to Tim earlier. I meant you.
Oh, it is Troy. Yeah. Okay. Yes. When I parse out that name, yes, that's right. I know who that is now.
Hey, do I want to sign into OneDrive? I can only
No.
sign in or create an account. No, I don't.
For the
want to
love
sign
of
in.
holy God, no, don't.
Let me close that out. And in about 5 minutes or so, it's going to ask me if I want to do that thing that I just said no again. Yeah. All right. So now I need to bring up a browser.
There's actually several tools available on the interwebs from reputable nerds to de-shitify all that kind of crap out of Windows.
Yeah, what is it? Chris Titus Tech or something
Chris
does
Titus
one?
Chris has one. There's other ones.
Why am I not connected to the internet?
I watch Chris Titus and Cyber Tech CPU or Cyber CPU Tech. He's really good too. Yes, Bricker, you can go into the registry and turn that off, but I would not recommend TO go into a registry on Windows. That is just a disaster waiting to happen. No.
It's always easy enough just to reinstall a better operating system.
Well, I was just with
Bluetooth?
with your abject hatred of Windows, your
It gets in the
bias
way.
built in, you going in there would just not be a good plan.
This is probably going in the wrong direction, yes.
They're talking in the chat about what kind of knives they carry. A few of them.
This is a Gerber knife, but I forget which one it is, and I like it because it doesn't have that Tonto point. My previous knife had a Tonto point, and I didn't like it.
This is the latest Ozark Trail Walmart knife.
It's about 90 pounds.
No, it's actually, and I hate a Tonto point. I like I don't know, whatever the hell that's called. Is fine.
Where it comes up in the front as a hard square corner.
Well, and it's a nice cutting surface as well. This was $20. I also have the orange Ozark Trail knife that was like $8 that also was pretty decent. I also have some real knives. I just don't have any with me. I've been using the $20 Walmart knife.
Like, seriously, where the heck? Like, did it just forget that it has Wi-Fi? This is why I love Windows. This thing has been on Wi-Fi before. I did the full Windows update circuit, but nope. You don't get Wi-Fi no more.
Hang on,
So we're going to do the classic Windows thing. Yeah, I can't see it either in person. Let's
just accept this suck and do the update. Wait, okay.
I was trying to restart, but there's no restart, and I can barely see it.
There was. Oh, there was.
Yeah. Like I said, I could barely see it. I don't actually have a screen on this.
Oh, okay.
I have the, what's it called? The OBS USB capture device.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for TO's machine to reboot, an interesting program if you want to run things, if you need to run Windows things and you don't have a Windows machine installed, WinBoat, B-O-A-T.
Let's not worry about the audience seeing anything.
Is excellent and runs on Linux. just fine. And I use it for temporary Windows foolishness at work.
That's an interesting view. I kind of like that. And that's not the right one. That's the one. There we go. Turn that one back on. Restream is very hard to use. Now I appear to have Wi-Fi, and all I did was turn it off and on again. And I'm saying that because I see a Wi-Fi icon in the corner.
And you appear to have the internets.
Yep. I don't know what all those console windows were that just popped up. Thank you, Windows. No, I've already moved on from restoring pages, so like take the hint. Would you rather have the Moto green one, so you can be full-on whacker, LARPer? Or would you rather have the black one?
I mean, if I could have got green ones when we were in the fire department, I would have totally done that. But normally I wouldn't want to carry a bright green radio.
So we have firmware, app, and CPS. And I don't know what the difference is between the... Oh, it's the CPS that's combined for the two of them. I think that might be the reason. I have been told that for some reason, the HA1G CPS is better than the HA1UV CPS. So we're going to try this app one first and see what happens. And for some reason, my mouse is stupid slow. I know I can fix it again. All right, let's do this because I can't see. Hey, there we go. Now I can see a little bit better.
Yeah, it's cleared up pretty good.
I took OBS on my other screen and made it full screen on the other screen. It's nothing to do with the virtual camera stuff.
Gotcha.
But, here we are. And these things are in compressed zip folders, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So I always extract them first. If it's a single file in there, usually it's fine. But if it's multiple files, sometimes it can't find the other files.
It won't be able to get the support files.
This is another firmware. This is not the CPS. Let's go back and do the CPS then. So we have HA1G something, 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 something app. That's a firmware. And then we have firmware HA1G something, 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 something. And then we have the CPS for both of them. So I guess we're going to have to just use the one CPS. And she's downloading. I even sent Hayden the invite in case he wanted to join before bedtime.
Well, the girl child hurt her back, not egregiously, and her mom carried her to the emergency room, and they said, yes, you hurt your back. It's a boo-boo. So she's not actually playing volleyball this morning, or I would have been at a volleyball game. So yay, I can sit in a comfy chair here with all my nerdy friends, as opposed to a bleacher that makes my butt hurt.
There we go. I turned the air conditioning on while we were downloading software, and we downloaded software. Couldn't download virus detected. Oh, this is great. Don't know where that came from, but okay.
And this is why, potentially, you would want a virtual Windows machine.
Yes.
Even running a VM Windows on your Windows, if you're a regular Windows user.
Yes, definitely.
Because a lot of that software, honestly, probably is fine, but they don't pay for the whatever certificate license thing from Microsoft. So you get that warning because it's unapproved software. And Apple does kind of the same thing with their stuff.
This is going to get a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm downloading it on my Mac, putting it on a thumb drive, which is going to connect to the same thing that my cameras are connecting to, which might have fun with that, and then loading it on the Windows machine by SneakerNet.
That is the way
to get past the fact that Edge won't let me download it. And it's probably not Edge, it's probably the Google backend to the Google backend. The worst thing I have
when music running.
I do, yep. Because it was going to be just me, and I might have been silent. And
well, I can't even hear it except occasionally.
Yeah, just when we're not talking.
Okay. It's ducking?
No, it's just we're talking and it's quiet.
Bricker thought he had a wild tab.
He does.
A rogue tab playing tunes at his house.
It's this one. This is the wild one. So I was saying the thing I hate the most about switching back and forth between Windows and Linux and Mac and everything is the keystroke combinations.
Yes, that can be. Or the slash. Which slash am I using today? Me too. I installed 3RC1, whatever it is, and of course it vetched about that. Now, I don't mind living on the edge. Whatever, but.
And the last time I used this thumb drive was when we did the oscilloscope live stream, testing out the DSW radio.
Speaking of oscilloscopes, what are we doing Monday night?
Monday night, so there has been this, maybe you should tell this story while I'm somewhat distracted. There has been some Baofeng Mini debacle going on with drama. Take it away, Jim.
Well, I mean, that basically covers it. Some YouTubers have tested the Baofeng Mini and found it to be clean. Most YouTubers have found it to be clean. Some other YouTubers have tested it and said it was dirty.
One.
And I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. At the risk of pimping another channel, old Josh, HRCC, had someone, he did a video the other day that was a little convoluted, but got to the point of potentially some people are not accounting for the settings in their TinySA correctly, and they're actually inducing harmonics into their test that are coming from the TinySA, which would make the test look, if you don't know this little feature, it would make the test look dirty when it may not be. And the gentleman that Josh visited,
what was his name? Doug?
I can't remember. He's an RF engineer type. He has a $25,000 spectrum analyzer. My ghetto one is only, $1,500. But
I wanted to say it was 50. I don't want to shortchange the guy. It's a key site.
Past 25, it doesn't matter to me. It's all big time cash, right? And so, I mean, the guy knows this is what he does, right? And he explained how this worked. And I actually downloaded the transcript of Josh's video and ran it through AI just to condense it down to an outline in bullet form, which was fabulous. But the upside is potentially the TinySA has not been set right. You don't have the right amount of attenuation on the outside from the radio to the TSA. And the TSA needs to have some attenuation also, or it starts to hear itself. And that's the fake harmonics and bogus spurs that you would see. So if you're not testing this right, it's going to show up. And the big takeaway is if you put too much attenuation on the outside and don't use any on the TSA, which has been a thing with some videos, then you're going to see these artifacts that are the TSA is hearing itself. So he kind of went through the procedure of how to do it. And Josh had also reached out to the guy who invented the TinySA, and he validated everything that they were showing on that video. So it was a really good video.
Yeah, it was a good video. And we're going to do some more of that stuff on Monday. I invited Josh to come on the stream. Josh has a Boy Scout obligation Monday night, so
Excuse me.
if we run late enough for him to join, he'll join, and if not, then he won't, and it's no big deal. But Prepe and Paul gifted 5
Yeah.
memberships, and the scoundrel got his own gift.
He gifted
So
himself?
20% of the time, it works every time. So Mike got one, Sean got one. I actually got a gifted membership. I think it was from Paul, different Paul, Oscar Grouch Paul. How to Ham got one. Andy says he's got 2 of those Baofangs, and one of them's dirty and one of them's not. And Dave got a gift membership. So what I did, you're seeing the screen share over here on this other side. I copied the zip file over. Windows decided that it had a virus and then protected me from the virus and then removed the file from my zip drive. So now I got to go back and I'm going to try and unzip it on the Mac and then copy the unzipped contents over. All right, safe to remove. Because I'm pretty sure there's not a virus. But it's also, this is my test machine, so don't do this unless you're in full-on test mode. Professional driver closed course kind of thing. Let's turn that off again so I can do this stuff in the background. And now I got to find out where the background is. This is all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes into making one of these videos, is messing all this stuff, moving all this stuff around, dealing with all this nonsense.
I think I'm going to have to start putting my green screen back up. It's a very busy background behind me, too.
Yeah, you took it down a while back.
Yeah, because I got tired of putting it up and down. It's in the way, right? I got to pull it out, raise it up, put it down. It's just like, you know what? I'm a senior middle-aged knucklehead YouTube ham. Yes, this is what my office looks like. Get over it.
Yeah, I didn't like the green screen either. So I tried to just make like something interesting to look at behind me. Your TV screen back there is too big.
Yeah, that I know. This is like a treasure hunt, right? A scavenger hunt. What is laying on the table today?
Yeah.
And just FYI, that is not dirty laundry right there. That is
dust
old fire department T-shirts that are over my spectrum analyzer and my oscilloscope.
So it's clean laundry.
It is clean. I just don't wear fire department T-shirts anymore. So I use them for whatever.
Okay, so inside, this is a 300 meg self-installing executable file. And inside of that, you're going to see how wonderful this software is. Because it's usually not the prettiest software. All right, so now...
I keep hearing that chime. Is that part of the music?
It's part of the music. It's AI-generated ambient music.
Every so often I hear a chime, and I'm like, I was going to go tell my wife to turn down her dang phone or answer her text message, one of the two.
It might be coming from the HDMI capture. No. So I double-clicked on it, but that might not have registered. There we go. Double-click. Watch it be no virus at all now that I've extracted it. Wow. It's not even an installer. This is it.
So it's a portable app.
Nice. So the zip file itself keyed up as if it was a virus, but the executable inside the zip file, that's fine. We'll just pass that. So I need my radio and my programming cable. I'm going to plug it in. Let me bring up Device Manager. That's what I wanted to do. And I've got 2 mouse on the desk, and I always pick the wrong one.
See you, Mike. And Bricker has to bail too, so Bricker, go take care of Atlas.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, like there's any ladies in this chat. If you're female and you're in this chat, sound off. Because I would love to see you. Not
Arnold Grubbs has to bail too as well. See ya.
Awesome. See ya. So plugging this in together, we're going to see what happens on Device Manager. Usually Windows complains that it doesn't like the device inside. And we see a port and COM. And we got it. Okay, it's a CH340 chip. There are prolific chips, which are scoundrels. They've been counterfeit, and Windows doesn't like to see them. So we've got the driver. That's good. We're able to get in and connect. Let's do... It says con device. CONN. Not like it's conning you.
Connect device.
COM5, because why not? Model. Oh, I do get to pick the model. HA1G. And let's say, okay. I've never used this software before.
We do have a lady in the chat. W3LLG is in the chat.
It says, reading. Welcome, W3LLG. It says CPS read and reading. Read successfully. And it tells you what it is on the screen. So we have basic settings, mic gain, strengthen, low, normal, strengthen, stun type, wake up. So there's a couple of nice features in this radio. NOAA weather, zone list. Do we have any zones? Zone 1, zone 2, alarm settings, channel list. These are the channels that are programmed in.
They all got tones on them?
No,
Probably?
no.
Oh, that's a plus.
So far, you can see this on-off column here. That's the receive and dang it. This software is actually probably the most advanced ham radio CPS ever.
Well, I was going to say that looks a little later production values than 1998, more like 2005 or so at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that does look reasonably current. PSX 1966 has been a member for 11 months, and thank you.
Welcome.
Brother.
Thank you.
He said good morning.
Let's see. Trying to do the mouse
video is asking the stun type.
What is he asking about the stun type? What type it is? What it means? What it does?
Need a little more info, buddy. Don't know.
I don't need help on what mouse sensitivity is. I need to set the mouse sensitivity. And of course, that closed out the window.
It is, yeah, of course.
This is why I don't like Windows. Mouse pointer speed.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, would you like to try and set the mouse pointer speed and have it bring up a web browser for help? Instead of actually... You've done it enough that you're familiar with it. But try doing it.
You're snake bit, son. You're absolutely snake
Who's with me in the chat? Who's with me in the chat? Would you rather
I know
click on
LC
mouse pointer speed and be able to set the mouse pointer speed? Or would you want to click on mouse pointer speed and have it close the application that you were in, open up a web browser, and give you help on how to do the thing that you were trying to do? Get out of my way and let me do the thing I want to do. So there are some tones on some channels, but I don't know if that was user tones, because most of these have no tones on them at all. Back to where we were originally. Okay, so that works. And let's change VFO A and B. I don't know. That's weird. All right, so I'm going to try and write this back when we get a chance. So Technovideo said stun type. Usually what that means is you can remotely turn the radio off. And then there's some magic key to turn it back on. Yeah, and lowest common denominator stuff is a pain. Stupid should hurt. Power on standby image. You can write your own image to the screen. Nice. All right, so let's do something simple. I just want to make a very simple change. And then turn that change to the radio to see that it happens. Let's do channel 1. And we'll change channel 1 to have a 67 hertz receive tone. And then export. Export sends it out to a file. So I need to find out where to write. There it is, write. And we are writing to the radio. We're doing the thing. Does it support Chirp? Well, we can check when I get my screen back.
That is Theodore. Everybody's YouTube names have changed recently. Or
yeah, sometimes you get their actual name and sometimes you get their handle.
Yeah, because usually that says Theodore, and I it took me a second to remember who that was, but I knew the call sign. And then LC with, it doesn't say LC.
Where's the compatibility list? How about list of compatible radios?
Theodore,
That's an ad.
Chirp does support some DMR radios, I think, but not many.
That's what I'm looking for right now.
And Lee is telling you to scroll down with authority.
There it is. Supported radios. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, I searched for compat and I searched for list, and neither of those two came up. HA1G. Yep, it's supported by Chirp. Okay, so we wrote to the radio, we read from the radio, all that works. Now, let me see if I can get this out of the way. And switch back to the overhead. Cool. I'll leave that over here. Okay, so that all works. And I need to put it into channel mode, because right now it's in frequency mode. Display mode.
Ozone 385 has dropped a 556 super chat. Thanks, Tio, for the great content. Always educational and fun.
Yeah, there's going to be little
start
tiny
a Windows channel next, by the way.
Right. Little tiny nuggets of information in there. So we're on channel 1. That's the one that I set. Channel 1. And I set an RX, not an RX frequency. I set an RX tone of 67. I don't know if Potato is going to show you that or not. And the black text on a blue background isn't working, but it did write to the radio. So this radio texts out perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. Has all of its parts. Ready to go back in the box. 1 down, 4 to go.
And it would go faster if the tech wasn't fighting you this morning.
Yeah.
That's
And if I wasn't recording, I'd be done with most of this.
right. 45 is off to do errands. He'll carry his green HA1G to fulfill the whacker role. You go,
Awesome.
boy. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, that's one radio down, one radio for sale. So $40 PayPal friends and family gets you this radio if you are interested in having a GMRS radio to play with, talking to GMRS people in your area. When we get down to the last one, we might have time to do the unlock. These are unlockable because they look exactly the same as the HA1UV radio. Because they are exactly the same as the HA1UV radio. So this is radio number 3. We're skipping 2 because 2 is the one that's missing a part that is not going to kill its functionality, but it's still missing the part.
Theodore is asking what the difference is between the HA1UV and the HA1G. Other than the bands, I think it's the same radio.
It's exactly the same radio. And there's a magical 3-finger salute. PTT plus 8, turn it on, and you're into, I think, fully unlocked mode at that point. So why am I taking the antenna off first? Maybe it was already off? No, I took it off. So let's turn her on. Startup screen, 462. And we can transmit on 462, so there's no tones and no offsets. So let's do 462, 6125. All right, we received.
Yeah.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. We received. All right, so it transmits and receives. That's good. Nothing weird about it. Let's do a power test.
Technovideo is asking, is one legal on GMRS and the other isn't?
If you have ever looked at the how to tell if a GMRS radio passes the Part 95 spec, I think it's Part 95 for GMRS, it's like logarithmic math, literally logarithmic math. And I'm not qualified to do that. I failed algebra 4 times in a row before finally passing college. But the ham radio spec is easier for some reason.
Yes, it's a lot easier. I don't know if, are you talking about Technovideo, or are you talking about harmonics, or are you talking about just using the radio because it has features? I
So
think
one
that's
is a
only
GMRS radio,
FRS.
one is a UV radio. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if he was talking about from a harmonic standpoint or
6.5 watts output, good SWR, 462, 6. Yep. Everything's fine on transmit. Good power. So that ain't it. Maybe it's just ugly. This does have that Motorola-esque look to it.
it does. The top screams Motorola.
Where I call that shoulders.
Yeah.
It's got the Motorola shoulders on it, and it's got the Motorola connector on it. I'm going to take the side piece off. Don't read anything into that.
You queued it up for me.
Right after I said it. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
All right, I'm going to step away a minute and I'll be back in a few.
All right, cool. All right, let's do that. And then let's switch the view over to... Sure. That's exactly what I wanted. Big me, little subject matter. All right, so I'm taking the side panel off. The music appears to have died on its own, of its own free will. It still says it's playing, but I don't hear it. And then just in case I accidentally go into transmit mode, we'll put the antenna on so we don't ruin it in any way. We verified that it puts power out and it can listen and receive. Testing, it's off. Testing. Yep. Puts out a signal. Let's go over to the Windows side of things, which is over here. And then we will plug the radio in. And then wrong mouse again, because that's how that works. Let me find out why that background music's not working. Starting up the background music again. There it is. Okay, good. Yeah, Jesse, I appreciate that you can't read the text, but this is more about like, does it work than about showing you the software itself. So if it reads from the radio, that's what I'm happy about. And we are reading from the radio. Enjoy some coffee. Let's make a change. And I can't read it either, so I'm going to add a receive CTCSS tone on channel 1 again of 67 hertz. And then we will operation write. Yeah, there's all kinds of bandwidth issues as to why this can be read and can't be read and what to do about it and what not to do about it. It's writing to the radio just fine. And it said failed. And it rebooted. Why did it fail? All right, the radio has rebooted. It might have failed because I switched radios out from underneath of the software. Let's try writing it one more time. Yeah, Liberty Cave is correct. The GMRS and ham radios are very close in frequency. Ham radio is 440 megahertz and as kind of center of frequency, and GMRS is 460 megahertz as kind of center of frequency. So it wrote successfully, and then the write failed. All right, I'm going to close the software out. I'm going to turn off the radio and restart. I'm going to unplug the cable. Let's go into Device Manager. There is no cable plugged in. Let's plug in the cable. The cable has successfully plugged itself in. It is COM5. Good. Let's turn the radio on. And let's launch the software. And then the government has some rule that says you're not allowed to have a GMRS radio that transmits on ham frequencies, and you're not allowed to have a ham radio that transmits on GMRS frequencies. But you can trust me to take a GMRS radio and convert it to ham and then transmit locally or transmit worldwide even. That's perfectly acceptable. But as a licensed ham, I'm not able to transmit on GMRS on a converted radio anymore. Connect device. That's the only port that we have to choose from. HA1G. And let's hit OK. And we're reading. And the radio is happily providing data. And this read screen is different than the previous read screen. Yes, failure is always an option. All right, now let's go into channel list. And that channel was set with the tone properly, but I want to see this thing pass successfully. So operation write. We're writing. The radio believes it's being written to. Write successful. Wait for it. Wait for it. Write failed. And then the radio says error restarting. Okay, so I'm going to unplug the radio from the computer. I'm going to close out the software so the software doesn't get confused. That might just be me having some mechanical empathy. And then I'll switch back to the overhead view and we'll try and do a factory reset. So menu. I mean, the radio works. It actually did. Let's prove that real quick. Menu. And what I want to prove is that did it actually do the thing? Did it write the code out that we wanted to write out? Yeah, so the CTC code, that's a mouthful, is 67 hertz. You guys can't read that. I can barely read that. Yeah, so when you use Liberty Cave's message here, when you do a Linux update in the background, as long as you're not using the software, there won't normally be an issue. But if you try to like update Firefox out from underneath of running Firefox, you might have some trouble. But again, as empathetic human beings, we would understand that. Okay, so the write did work. It just gave me an error. The radio said there was an error. The computer said there was an error. So we're going to do a factory reset. Confirm. Confirm again. Confirm a third time. Reset. Wow, 3 resets to get a confirmation on factory resetting. And what's really funny is nobody's going to accidentally factory reset a radio. Let's go into channel and see if that did actually reset the tone. Yeah, so there's none tone and none tone. There we go. None tone, none tone. So that's good. All right, we're going to try that right again. We'll try a different serial port. Switch that over. Get my full screen on so I can see. Napalm saying apt-get update is the best and the war has begun. Napalm, try Nala instead. You'll like it a lot better. Nala does multi downloads from the fastest nearest mirror, and then it will also try and multi-thread some installation procedures if it believes that there are no circular dependencies between them. Now we're on COM 6 instead of COM 5. I did pick a different USB port. So what is this button over here? Is it going to detect? It's trying. Yeah, so sudo apt install nala, and then sudo nala update, sudo nala upgrade, etc. Just replace all of your apt words with nala words. And it's actually got a prettier display output. Yeah, Napalm, I'm pretty behind the times too. Apt still works. Dpackage works. Apt-get is better. Apt is better than that, and nala is better than that. And then, of course, there's also the GUI tool. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to change that tone again. We proved that it was gone. We're going to put it back. And then we will do operation write. And we're writing. And let me switch my camera if I can do it in time. So we can see that it's trying to write. Restarting. It said error again. So there's an error on programming. But it appears to be a non-problematic error on programming. So I'm going to try and write it again. Well, first off, let me prove, now that I've switched all the screens around. Dang it. Switch that back. Unplug that, and then menu, channel, select, tones, and there is a tone there. So you can see the 67.0 tone. So it successfully wrote to the radio. And then what I wanted to do was do a back-to-back programming on it now that I've done the factory reset. So we're showing up as COM7 now for no particular reason. Maybe I plugged it into a different port. I doubt it. Connect device. COM7. Model is the HA1G. And we'll do OK. And it will read just fine. Oh, 2E0GIY is now entered the ring. Wants to say that aptitude is better than any of that other nonsense. I'm going to go back into channels. I'm going to take that tone back off. See, and at this point, I've already spent more money trying to fix this radio than I'm going to get paid when I sell this radio. Operation right. And this is going to be some chip level thing. The only other thing this could be is a dirty connector. And if it's a dirty connector inside, like a solder bridge or something, taking this radio apart, it's trash. Write successful. Wait, there's an error on the radio screen. Write failed. All right, so let's see if the connector is dirty. The other thing I can do is switch out programming cables, but I don't have a programming cable that I can sell you. Yeah, the connector, not that you guys can see that at all, but the connector looks fine. Good evening, Alan in Denmark. Put it back on. And we'll try to write it again. Radio says it's writing. Boost the value, add an autograph. Yeah, I'll add an autograph and a TO sticker. It doesn't actually have any errors except it tells you it has an error. So I've cleaned the connector and I put it back. It looks like Jim has rejoined us. Right, successful, and there's an error and it's restarting. Yeah. So save it for parts. Or sell it with the disclaimer.
Did you just try to zap the firmware to it and it won't take it?
Oh, I didn't do the firmware. That's a good idea. That's going to be a whole nother procedure, though. So this radio here will read in the CPS just fine. It will write in the CPS just fine. Then the radio tells the CPS that there's an error and all of the programming was successful. So, like, sure.
Awkward.
Can we get it into firmware mode? Let's get rid of that. Let's do that. I hate that this screws on.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all witness to an actual bad radio.
Until the firmware won't, until you can't reflash it, it may not be bad.
Yeah. But I was telling everybody before you got here, we're beyond the point of, I've already spent more money fixing this than I'm going to gain by returning it. So it is PTT and button 1, gain by selling it. And then you turn it on, and it should come on with a black screen. And when you let go of the buttons, they turn red. So we are now in firmware update mode, and it looks like it's bad, but it's not. So we'll plug it back in. And now I need to do a different download.
There's a bad radio, just bad firmware.
Right. Switch that back over. Back to full screen. That's on full screen. Okay, we can close this out. And then...
Is that a thumb screw on the side on that connector, or is it...
It is.
Have to have a screwdriver.
For the USB programming cable, it's a thumbable thumb screw. For the dust cover thingy, which has a waterproofing gasket on it.
It's a
showing
screwdriver
the overhead camera
thingy.
that's not there. Yeah. There's a waterproofing gasket for the dust cover thingy. But when you put it on, maybe it was missing on the other radio, but there was an air gap. You could see through it anyway. All right. I think 2E0 GIY really wanted to know if it was a thumb screw.
That's Theodore.
Yeah. Well, he came up as Theodore before, didn't he?
Huh?
I thought he came up as Theodore before.
No, I recognized the call sign, but I was like, what? Who is that? I know the name and I recognized the picture. So I looked him up on the Z and I was like, oh yeah, okay. I knew he's been in our shows.
So we're in firmware update mode. Windows has protected my PC from an app that I downloaded on purpose, and I'm going to run it anyway. And what COM port is this on? I'm going to find that out. COM 7. So this firmware update tool just puts up COM 7 there. And then it wants the app bin file, which it appears to have found on its own. So we're just going to say update. And it's doing a countdown, and there's nothing to show you on the radio. I can show you that nothing's happening, but we'll just take the screen's word for it. So we'll count down together. Did you get the radio yet from the mail, Jim? The Baofeng Mini?
It's not showed up yet.
What kind of coffee are you drinking today?
Already drank it. It's Nicaraguan coffee. We have a subscription to Atlas, so I get different coffee from a different place every month.
So you never know what you're going to get?
No, never know. Brazil, India, Nicaragua, El Salvador, whatever.
Yes, and this is 2025, and we're using a 115-200 baud serial port. And the file we're trying to upload is 484K, so it's going to take forever. So Elsie has an interesting take on this, and I will agree 50% and I will disagree 50%. He says, Windows has single-handedly prevented the economy from realizing productivity increases in computing. Which is absolutely true. Yeah, we're fighting each other. In some cases, and in other cases, it's really weird. So you're old enough to know, Jim, and LC, both of you. It used to be that you could go down to the local Radio Shack and get yourself a Tandy 1000, which was an 8088 or
Mm-hmm.
8086 variant PC,
Had
4
one.
megahertz to 10 megahertz. You could run WordPerfect on it. It would run just fine, doing its thing. And then you could kind of get into a graphical user interface, and it would be dog slow. It would be hard to get work done. Because really, you're asking a lot of the computer to do a graphical user interface. And right then, when that graphical user interface came out, is the delineation point. Because you could buy a 386 and an 8088, 8086 PC from the same manufacturer on the same day in the same showroom. And then all of a sudden, you couldn't, because the 8080 something machine couldn't run Windows effectively. So, bam, like the whole world, like Microsoft wrote bad software knowing that PC horsepower would overcome the bad coding. And that was their thing. Like, we're just going to get software that does something interesting for you and makes your life better. It used to, and not worry about how slow it is. You can buy a faster machine.
Well,
so I think
I don't disagree with you. You're correct. It's kind of a, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's like, just imagine, aside from the marketing piece, right, that GUI interfaces are better for the non-technical people, right? Can you imagine telling your grandma or your mom at our age, our moms, to change directory to solitaire and type sol.exe, right, and having to explain that? So, I mean, I see why the graphic interfaces came along, and even before Windows was actually useful, right? Pre-Windows 3.11, which I still don't think was that useful. Unix boxes had a GUI forever, right?
X Windows, yeah.
Yeah, X Windows on Sun machines and other systems. And, you know, that kind of became the thing. And I guess it's mostly marketing that pushed toward GUI interfaces, which of course require more horsepower, yada, yada, yada. But just imagine how fast your DOS-based text editor would let you edit stuff. I mean, I don't know. There's a point in there somewhere. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. I don't disagree with what you said. I think there's a little more to it than, I don't know.
He's come back with some more information. I'm thinking more in terms of people spend so much time on the win frustration, they think all other computing tasks are hard and avoid learning them. That is true. It is actually harder to program a computer now than it used to be. And I just realized something while we were doing this. It's not actually doing the firmware upgrade. It's waiting for the host to enter firmware upgrade mode, which it's not entering. So there's some problem with the connector on the side of this radio. But now we have a spare programming cable to put in the box for the other radio that didn't have a programming cable. So we'll test that out real quick too. But this is not going to get anywhere.
ADHD said his mom worked on a mainframe and coded in COBOL. I mean, yes. But she was in the business, right? I'm excluding people who are in the IT business.
Well, human beings will rise to whatever challenge you give them. And unfortunately, modern society has decided to lower the challenge level. And so, like, my car will tell me when there's a car in the lane next to me by giving you the little yellow light on your mirror. What happens if the light fails? I've now become dependent upon the light to tell me instead of using my eyeballs and my brain to know that there's a car next to me. I'm just going to crash into the car next to me because I'm too stupid to look out the window. I agree with Elsie 100% on that. All right, so we're going to keep this programming cable and assume that it's good.
Something that is more difficult, and so I think I've mentioned I'm sure I mentioned it in the last week or so. I used to code a whole lot of BBS related crap and other stuff back in the late 80s and early 90s in Turbo Pascal, in DOS. And, you know, short of using the Borland IDE, which was pretty much, it's an editor, hit this button to run the code, hit this button to debug the code and step through it, whatever. It was pretty straightforward, right? Or I would edit in a program called QEdit, which was a text editor for DOS that I adored. Yep. And I created a button to pop it out and CLI the Borland command line editor, or the compiler from QEdit. So I just had an editor and a compiler. Life was good. So I've recently
gotten... I still do that on Linux today.
I've got, yeah, they do. and I've gotten back into coding recently, and I have a Mac at work, and I have Windows and Mac here, and whatever I happen to be on. And I've done a couple things for the Mac, programs for the Mac that it's nothing I'm ever going to release. It's stuff I use, but using a current IDE is fairly complicated. And I've been in IT my entire life. I've never gone a day since high school without doing IT stuff.
Nerd.
And yeah, pretty much. I mean, other than the days I was riding a bus, but it's very complicated. Like I bought Visual Studio 2022, the latest version, I think.
When you bought it.
And Lord, the setup on that it's fairly convoluted. And then when you throw in all the other extensions and add-ins and libraries and stuff, it just gets to be quite epic. Now, once you get it all configured, it's pretty cool. And so is VS Code. I use VS Code on the Mac at work. So I can do Pascal on it, or C# or C++ or Python or whatever. But the tool itself has gotten a whole lot more complicated. And if I still had all my Turbo Pascal crap, I swear I would stand up a VM DOS box and just go back to town on Turbo Pascal. But I threw all that stuff out a long time ago.
So I was going to take this programming cable and go straight into programming mode on this radio, but this battery may be dead or this radio may be dead. We might have two failures.
Mm-hmm. LC, no, I did not do IT on my honeymoon. You know what I mean. Every day of my professional life. And even on the days I was working the bus, transitioning between real jobs, I was doing IT at the ambulance company. So,
okay, try the known working battery from the other radio and see if that's it. Ah, that's what it was. It was dead battery.
that'll get you.
So I'll put the dead battery, which may or may not be bad, in with the radio that may or may not be bad. And then, like I said, we're going to go straight into programming.
Yes, I am. So is T.O.
Yes, you are what?
Nerds.
Yes. Yeah. It's where all the money is.
Right.
Oh, it's where all the money used to be. It's not anymore. All right, so we have a serial port that showed up. Good. Let's get back to... Where's my keyboard? There it is. The thumb drive. And I'm actually going to copy this over to the desktop, so we're running at better speeds than thumb drive speeds. And then I can eject that. And thank you, Windows, for telling me it's safe. They yell at you when you just pull the thumb drive out, but they don't make it especially easy to eject it. Like on Mac, you can just drag it into the trash can and it'll eject.
It's just a different paradigm.
It is. But a lot of people don't even know you're supposed to do that. Like they pull the thumb drive out and it complains that you did it wrong, but they have no clue how to do it right. That's on both operating systems.
True.
That's where I was going with that. But I appreciate that you think I hate Windows that much, because you're right. So we're reading from the radio. The radio believes we're reading from it. We have read. All right, let's write. Radio has rebooted. This is an older firmware because it comes up with the island screen.
I mean, I know I'm a nerd. I'm running Docker on
We're
one
live streaming
machine
on a Saturday.
live streaming on a Saturday morning. Before I got on this stream to support my bro up there, I'm running Docker on an old Mac Pro that's running Linux Mint, and I have Portainer and Pi-hole and Unbound and
This one has also failed. It might be a bad cable.
all sorts of other crap on it. I have 3 Pi-hole instances running, so I have a secondary and a tertiary Pi-hole.
right, so now we're going to assume that it might be the cable that's bad because it's been one cable and 2 radios at this point. So now let me grab the other known working cable. Let's try that.
It's always layer 1.
So this is the cable from the first radio that did work on the third radio, and we might have some redeeming value for that other radio. So
we need to try that cable. Ozone asked what Pi-hole is. Pi-hole is a ad blocker that runs on your network, and you can literally run it on a very low end Raspberry Pi, like a 3 or a 0.
Because it's just DNS essentially, yeah.
Yep. And you change your systems to point to that for your DNS, and so you download known ad sites to it, and when you set it up. And so whenever your browser calls any of those ad sites, Pi-hole, which is now your DNS, says, oh, that ad site's address is 0, so your browser never shows it, and it blocks generally somewhere between 15 and 20% of your ads. There's some things that are difficult to block with that methodology, but for the most part, it makes your life better.
Read successfully. Not that we get a lot of money from YouTube ads, but if you close out the YouTube ads by doing something like that, then make sure that you support your creators. And not just me. I mean, yes, it's kind of self-serving for me to say that, but this is not easy to do.
I don't know how well it blocks YouTube ads. I don't know, because I've had a premium subscription to YouTube forever, so
it probably doesn't.
I don't think it does.
So as an example, I used to work for a company that did advertising serving, and
you are the devil, son.
The domain name was advertising.com. So you block 100% of the traffic going to advertising.com, and you don't see any advertising. And then the thing with YouTube is YouTube serves the ads from youtube.com. So you can't block youtube.com, or else you can't see youtube.com. So YouTube ads are harder to block. So let's write to the radio with the good cable.
As is Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that.
Failed.
If they're serving their own ads.
That write failed fast. All right, I'm turning the radio off, and I'm giving it the 3-finger salute to get it into firmware mode. And it is now in firmware mode, so let's do the firmware update instead.
And to further follow up on what T.O. said, we're doing this because we enjoy talking about radio stuff and playing with nerdy tech, but
I just want to watch the world learn.
I also like to get paid and eat, kind of thing.
Yes, and eating is a good thing.
This is not free, right? Ain't no such thing as a free lunch. So if you're going to block YouTube ads, you should support the creators in other ways that you watch on a regular basis. Either by joining their channel, link below for his. I don't like ads in the middle of my YouTube videos, and I think $10 a month is a perfect time, a perfectly reasonable fee to pay, so I don't have to deal with YouTube ads. So I just pay for
not
YouTube
updating
Premium.
either. This might be second bricked radio. So I can't program this with the programming cable. This is the known good programming cable on a questionable radio.
And it ain't working.
And it failed as well. So this might be the second radio that can't be programmed. But we'll see if it can do everything else.
You came up with the same COM port, though, right? You're still on 7?
I did, and I refreshed and checked device manager and all that jazz.
Okay.
So on the other radio, it actually, you weren't here for this. It actually did the write to the radio and then complained. So the radio did receive the updates from the CPS software, but it didn't complete a checksum failure or something. I don't know. So I changed channel 1. Oh, the beeper's on.
So
this is definitely an older firmware.
It reset the firmware.
Yeah, so none and none. So the writing didn't happen at all. On the other radio, the writing happened and then it complained. This one just complained straight up. But that might be new CPS, old software too. But I can't update the firmware, so. Garth, thank you very much. What's going on here? Saturday stream and Tio is using Windows. I know. Dogs and cats sleeping together.
And Lord Garth, we know constantly.
Let's do 462575. And she's receiving. And she's transmitting. All right, so she receives and transmits. That's good. We'll do the power test just because we're like that. Garth has been a member for 2 months. Thank you, Garth. This is why radios fail. Because I try to do things that I shouldn't be doing. Like I should be using the appropriate SMA torque wrench in order to screw this thing on.
Or a cable and quit screwing it to the like that.
Yeah, and technically...
a lot of mechanical pressure on it.
Yeah, technically you're supposed to spin the external thing here and not spin the coax center pin, for lack of a better terminology. I'm sure there's an actual name for that thing.
Ozone is asking what the blue radio is. That's the Vero, isn't it?
This is the Radiodity GM30 Pro.
Oh, I got that. Yeah. I got that radio. I thought it looked familiar. Remember what it was.
GMRS deal. And even though I have a unlocked ham radio that will transmit on GMRS bands, it's not legal to do that, so I can't demonstrate that for you. I mean, you can make the change to the device, but it's not legal to transmit with it once the change has been made, unless it's time of an emergency and there isn't any better available means of communication. Because laws. Again, lowest common denominator stuff.
And I'm not saying anybody should go rogue and do that sort of thing, but you hear 7200 on HF and you're like, apparently no one else cares, so why do I? I mean, I had the I Mars modded my 400 and had the fire department frequency in it that I could transmit on. So
this is another radio that can't be programmed. And it might be that the firmware is too old to update on. The radio is too old to update with the latest firmware. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you have to go incremental on the firmware. That's kind of stupid.
Because the new firmware downloading app doesn't understand the old radio communicating with it. It's not way deep in the weeds in IT shit.
Yeah.
We have one good radio so far. And I will take the known good programming cable and put it in the known good radio box. And that brings us to radio number 4. One good, 2 bad. And when I did 10 RT95s, they were all good. Oh, this one's cosmetically damaged. It's missing a piece of plastic. That's okay. We have a spare radio. Let's check to see if this one has a programming problem with it.
Somebody dropped that.
Yeah, and then if it passes... Is that a dent in the screen? Oh, we got to do a screen peel. Because there is a screen protector on it. This is B-grade cosmetics. Yeah, there's a dent in the screen. If I can get the camera to catch the light just right, but that screen is dented.
Oh, yeah, we see it.
Bite mark over there, like the dog got it.
Rotate. Stop right there. Yep.
Yeah,
there
so
it is.
Dent in the screen. There's some chew marks. There's some red there. That cover plate is missing. We missed that in our initial go through. I will take full responsibility for that. Oh, yep. Dead screen. And for the amount of margin in this, it's not worth going any farther than that.
Nope. Take the antenna off. Save the cable.
Yeah.
She's dead, Steve.
She's dead.
Damn it, Jim. I'm a ham, not a doctor.
stop putting the Sharpie away because I keep using it. So this one has screen. That's an S. So that was wrong to return it. Shame on you, whoever bought that, destroyed it, and then made everybody else pay the price. So that one's bad, and it's not Retevis' fault. I mean, that we know of. It could be the person got really pissed and threw it across the room, but that's childish. Churldish. So this is number 5. This is the last one.
Yeah, save the battery.
Yeah. Oh, somebody actually used this one. It's got programming in it. Nice. Okay, let's menu, radio, display mode, channel mode. Nope. I didn't want channel mode. I wanted frequency mode.
Lisa Gaston was in the field and the dog grabbed his TX500 MP and ran off.
That's the tech prepper. And that's an expensive, I don't know.
Is that the Discovery?
That's the man portable Discovery from Lab 599. That's about $1,000. May or may not be worth more than the dog at that point. I'll let you people decide that. I'm not saying my decision. I'm just telling you a funny joke. So maybe not so funny. I don't know. All right, 462, 625. It's receiving, but it says there's a tone. And we're transmitting. So this radio has received it. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. So now I need to go in and turn that tone off.
I wasn't ready for that one.
So let's tone off.
Bill said that it was the upright version. The dog tripped over the coax and everything went flying.
Oh, well, that's operator fault. Yeah.
And Jonathan just bought a Lab 599.
Oh, I wish you would have waited. I could have given you mine for a small fee. I need to get to that. I've had that radio in my possession for a year and haven't had a chance to even turn it on because I'm doing all this other stuff. Okay, no tones. And we're receiving, and there's a Roger beep. I love it. Testing. Yep. Testing. All right, so we're receiving and we're transmitting. Oh, that antenna was on there like it meant to be on there.
Bill must have one because he likes it. He said that's a great radio.
There's a known problem with the radio. Bill and I have talked about this a lot, and I'm not saying anything bad. It's just an is. If you use a non-resonant, and Bill, please correct me because it's been like a year since we talked about this, brother. If you use a non-resonant antenna, there's a chance that RFI getting back into the radio will fry the audio chip, I think it is. So, just be careful. Other than that, it has lots and lots of amazingly nice features. Let's turn that off. But we got what we needed. 462, 625. Yep, 6.6 watts out. Yep, everything's good there.
He said close enough. Something like that, close enough.
Yeah, cool. But it's something that you can fix being a good ham. And yes, it is a design flaw. Oh, and the deeper pain and suffering in that is that the chip itself is like no longer obtainable. So you have to get a different chip, and then you have to. It's all surface mount stuff and yada yada yada. Like life is hard. Wah wah wah. I don't like that green light is on all the time. That's kind of a waste of battery power.
I mean, I'm going to say, I respect
There it is.
You know I respect
it. Was receiving.
But I'm going to say I wish to Christ you would put a cable on those on all the test stuff and just screw the cable on and quit.
It's going to cost me more to do that. Limited budget here, Jim.
Oh,
I have about a $5 margin in these radios. That's what
Are you playing the poor card? Well, I mean, it's not like you couldn't use the cable for other stuff. I just want
No, I have the cable. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about level of effort to do the tech out, the repair work.
I know.
If I was making $150 on each one of these repairs, I I would be absolutely I'd be wearing latex gloves to not get any fingerprints on it. I mean, if this was a museum piece, yada yada yada.
Techno Video said cable is dB loss. That is true, but for what we're doing, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And we're talking an 18-inch cable, or shoot, even a 10-inch cable. You're not inducing that much loss, and we're not testing for loss.
No, I just want to see that it's putting out somewhere close to its non-rated power, because we looked on the website at the beginning of the stream, and it doesn't say how much power it's supposed to put out. So the fact that it's putting out 7 watts is close to 7 watts is fantastic on an unknown wattage radio. I'm sure it's 5 watts is the spec.
Yeah.
I can't read because I'm not connected. Let's see if that works, even though I changed radios. Oh, that's useful. We're reading.
Sweet.
And Bill says the 599 Discovery radio is one of his favorites, but there is a flaw. Every radio has a flaw. And some of them are like very glaring flaws. So the ICOM 705, which is sitting on my desk right over here, has a flaw where it will pick up RFI through its USB cable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to choke the USB cable in order to get it to work. And it's a radio made by a radio company that should know better than to allow a radio to do that. And yes, again, it's good hams.
Top tier manufacturer.
Wrong mouse. So we read from the radio fine. I mean, it's like day one of testing. Man, he's got tones on every single channel on this radio. And he did do some custom channels in here. So we've got Henderson repeater, Lake Sahara, Blue Diamond, Mount Pot, Kine Rad Tower, Mount Pot High 2, Mount Pot Low, WPZR 312 repeater. So you could actually do some geo hunting and kind of get an idea of where this radio was used.
We have metadata. That's right. What's one of those call signs?
So the easiest one is WPZR 312.
It's not showing up on QRZ.
Does QRZ do GMRS?
I don't. Apparently not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Clark County.
Clark County, what state?
Vegas. Las Vegas.
Oh, cool. Right down the street. Right up the street.
So that radio's been out gambling and drinking until late at night.
Yeah, smells like it. All right, so channel list. Let's change a setting. We'll do this one's already got tone 67. So we'll take tones off on channel 1. And then we will write to the radio.
N0URB said Mount Pot is Mount Potosi.
Near Vegas? Cool.
I guess.
Bob Stone has the same repeaters in his radios.
Repeaters in his radios.
Yeah. Bob already said, that's from Vegas. Like he already knew. That's awesome. N0URB or HT5LY. I'm not sure which one of those is the appropriate call sign. Maybe both. As do I. Yeah, y'all know. All right, write successful. And I got the error message again. So this one has that same programming issue. And it's kind of A- grade in terms of cosmetics. Yeah, Jim with the freaking lasers.
The freaking lasers.
All right. Turn that off. Turn that off. So this radio works fine except for the programming. And I guess since I have another programming cable here, might as well try it since it's easy.
Storm's radio said GMRS is dead in his area, aside from a few repeaters that are hit or miss. I live in the Montgomery, Alabama area. I don't actually live in Montgomery. I live out in the county, but for the longest time, we haven't had any GMRS repeaters here. I think there is one now. I haven't checked because my wife, when I even tried to hand her a radio to use, just gave me the eyebrow on stun, and I realized I didn't want to sleep in the shop for the next 3 weeks, so I just dropped that whole thing. But he also said
Windows stopped the advancement of man.
Right. That's right. But he also said there was a local elementary school on Channel 5 broadcasting kids info.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken, can you not buy blister pack GMRS radios at the Walmart?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cheap too.
Yeah.
So it did actually successfully complete the write,
Okay.
even though it complained that there was an error. So I'm gonna say this is software problems. There's something going on here where it might not be the right firmware in the radio, and therefore this is the last one. So I mean, I got time to play with it a little bit.
Well,
But we're way
reflash it.
beyond cost. Yeah, well, these are the ones where I tried to reflash, and I think it's the wrong flash. I'm using the wrong mouse. So I got to look for an older flash. Let's try writing one more time. This is a different cable. The last cable wrote, but then had an error. So does this one do the same thing? Right? Error. Restarting. Yeah, same thing. All right, let's see if we can find an older firmware, which we won't be able to download on Windows because it'll complain that it's got a virus.
You can bypass that.
Oh, yeah, I did. All right. Radio off. Let's double check. Does it actually have instructions? Yes. Really? It's a 0 KB text file. Nice. Adjust the save channel method. You can choose to save. Oh, you can't zoom with the keyboard. There you can. Different keystroke for different operating system. Improve character color. Fix problem. Subtones. Okay. Doesn't tell you how to do the update. Let's run the tool. I see nothing in here that tells me how to do the update. But some pre-gaming research says to give it a 3-finger salute to turn it on, put it into firmware mode. Waiting for the host to enter update mode, which it's never going to do. So that's what's leading me to believe that this is a 2 new firmware. And in the show notes, I had a different page. Chirp might actually do it, Lee. Chirp might run just perfectly fine. Bring this up. So we'll play with Chirp after we do this. So that's from the software download page. We're going to go to a different download page. Oh, it's Ilance.
Did you send me a tracking number on that?
I did.
Let me find it. I was going to check. The mail may have run. I'm sending out 2 elk antenna handles today.
So what is the oldest firmware? There's the update operation. This is the how-to page. Oh, there's a different way to do firmware than the way that I downloaded. All right, keep radio powered off. Then press and hold the PTT and PF1 together and turn on the radio. And okay, so we did the keystroke right, but there's a different way to do firmware. So let's try the other way to do firmware and see if that's any better.
It doesn't say out for delivery.
That tool. Launch that tool. 3-finger salute on the radio. And we are in DFU mode, device firmware update mode. Go to the operation menu and choose firmware.
See ya, LC. Have a good day.
Port is COM7. Model is HA1G. I did that and went to the file path, download application to the flash. Select file. And this is in the downloads folder.
Hey, Doc.
and then download. Good morning, Doc.
No, not technically.
Oh, wrong Doc.
Well, for your time zone.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what time it is here. So now we're actually doing a firmware update. So we might be able to go back and revive those radios. So this is a different firmware update method. Like, who would have thought you download the firmware and then you use the firmware file, that application installer that's in that download? Not that it included any readme file or directions or anything. Watching paint dry. You thought FT8 was bad. Try doing firmware updates.
I had to do firmware updates on all my network gear the other day. I actually had to do firmware downgrades. Using the Flex Radio Smart SDR software on Windows, the version on Mac, or running Thetis on Windows with my Hermes Lite, the audio stream was breaking up.
Why is it red?
And after a whole lot of network troubleshooting, I ended up backing up firmware to an older version, and the problem went away.
Okay, this is interesting. So the radio rebooted. The transmit light is on. Is it transmitting? It's not transmitting. Maybe the light's just red now for who knows what reason.
Because it's done with the firmware upgrade?
Yeah, I mean, the radio rebooted, but the screen here doesn't indicate that anything's done. Power off. Power on. Radio comes on fine and the light's off. Let's close the firmware update tool and let's read from the radio. And we're reading. Read successful, which had always been successful for all the radios so far. And I love how it reboots the radio after a read. I guess it has to get it out of read-write mode. Get it out of PC mode. And those changes did take effect. I'm going to put 67 back on. And then we're going to write it out again and see if we fail on the write. And now when the radio boots up, it doesn't say ILUNS. It says Retevis ILUNS. The radio indicates that it's receiving the data. The computer says it's sending the data. Write successful, error. So same problem. But I want to try, now that we can do a successful firmware update, let's try a newer version of the firmware. And this is where hobbyist things work out. I need to go to the website and download the new version of the firmware. And then we'll try Chirp if that doesn't work. So the latest version is 01.13.001 is the newest version. So let's do that. And then let's open the folder that it's in. And it's a compressed zip file. So I can zip into it. Right click, extract all to a path. Good. And there is a change log. Does the change log have instructions? No. Number of zones has been changed from 64 with 16 to 16 with 64. Nice. So instead of 64 zones and 16 channels, I'll get 16 zones with 64 channels per zone.
Which makes a hell of a lot more sense, actually, because who in the hell would have 64 zones?
I barely even use channels, let alone zones. But, to each their own.
I use zones. I've got, 3 or 4. If it's a DMR radio, I've got...
All right.
Yeah, probably 3.
So now we've got a new version of the firmware. Let's turn the radio off. 3-finger salute. Turn it on. All right, we are in DFU mode. Operation. You're the doctor. Select the file. It's a different file now. .13. And let's download. And we started over from scratch. The light went from red to green, and we're making progress. Awesome. I'm going to get something to drink. Time for a brewski.
Well, we could just all sit here and watch Tio's progress bar go, but
But what?
I don't know. I mean, you're not going to be gone long. I mean, you live in a mobile domicile, so it's not like you have to walk far to get a beverage.
12 foot to the fridge.
Yeah, I didn't want to launch into anything because, you just cut me off when you come back and we're back to doing the thing. So, and I'm not saying that like, you just cut me off. I mean, just like, whatever.
Yeah. Back to the show. Don't want to keep these people waiting.
Right.
Download
we have ham
successful.
church tomorrow morning, all y'all. So expect to see all of you there. Get there early for the best seats in the back. I need to post the show today, but
so the firmware finished, and I saw a little green thing up here at the top of the screen this time that said it finished, but it leaves this screen up, making you think that it's not finished. Okay, so now can I write to the radio? Yes, I can write to the radio. We have the latest updated firmware, and I'm writing. Are we going to get an error? The suspense. And it failed.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So
let's hang on. Do a read from it and then try the write after you pull it.
Operation read. Well, hold on. Let me change something here on screen. I'm going to change this. It should be 67 in the radio. I'm going to change this to off. No, I'm going to change it to 71. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is so, like, not only did it read, but we have proof that it read and, like, the information's changed.
Yeah. Good idea.
Read.
Because, while we had the firmware issues, but they could also have changed the format of the data file, and that is why it's bitching. So
I think it might have said that in some video I watched somewhere.
I've seen it mentioned before.
Yep. And we have now read, and the tones have changed. So 67, we set it to 71 and 71, and 67 and off is what we wrote to the radio when it failed its write, proving that the write worked. So now let's change that to off and off, like it should be, as the good Lord intended.
Send it.
Right.
The other thing that I might try, just to validate this, since we're now at I want to know what the actual problem is. Not that we're going to get any money out of this particular radio. But do a file new and push up. See, that worked fine.
Not done yet. Oh, whoa.
Show done here.
I think we have success. So what has happened, not arguing with you, what has happened in the past is that the computer thought it wrote successfully, the radio showed an error, then the computer showed an error. Now, 0 errors whatsoever. Well, so that's the solution.
And the pro tip here is what I was going to say, not that it matters at this point, it's OBE, but do a file new. Create a new file, even if it's blank, and upload it as a placeholder if you're having trouble. And if that will upload, that did the same thing you did. You downloaded what was in there so we could match the schema of the config file that's in the radio.
And it did say that somewhere in some documentation that I read yesterday when I was preparing for today's mess. So we have a solution. So now we got to go back through the rest of the radios, except for the one with the broken screen.
Yeah, I think the screen's going to be broken no matter what config we upload.
Yeah, so let's do Chirp and see if Chirp will do its thing. And let's do download. This is an ad.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go.
That's actually, yeah, see ya. That's actually a problem though, is to see, like I clicked the download button and a window popped up to download with a download button on it. That seems, there's a start download over here. These are very misleading ads. And what you should do is you should send feedback, ad covered content, seen multiple times. Ad was inappropriate. Because having an ad to go download something completely different on a page where you download stuff is wrong. That was the wrong option. Anyway, I'm in the middle of something else. Let's download the latest software. We're doing Chirp next. And I went to Chirp installer. And she downloaded. And we're going to open. And yes, we want to install it. And then next. And then we want to run it. And then we want to agree. And then make sure I have the Retevis CPS software closed. It shouldn't matter, but, you know, things happen. Download from radio. Port is COM7. Vendor is, I like this, how it's got it kind of sorted. Categorized, that's what I meant. Hierarchical category, HA1G. And then we say, okay, and it's reading from the radio. The radio believes it's being read from. There we go. And GMRS channel 1, there are no tones on it. Let's put a tone on it. 67 sounds good. Radio. Upload to radio. All that is good. Let's upload. And I think this means that we are okay on programming cables. We have one radio with a bad screen because it was dropped onto something hard or chewed up by a dog. And I think that one had a programming cable. And then we have one that does not have a programming cable. Okay. The radio has restarted. Let me verify that tone real quick. I'm not going to switch the cameras over because I'm going to do something real quick. I guess I should switch the camera over. And there's a tone on the radio like there should be. Excellent. So I'm going to take that tone off and rewrite to the radio, and then I'm going to switch the camera over so we can see if the radio says that it has an error on it. Where's the no tone? Is there no tone at the bottom? No. All right, how do we turn the tone off? Tone mode, none. Okay, there we go. Now we'll do radio and upload. And while that's uploading, switch over to the overhead view. And it's not really uploading. Maybe because I didn't hit OK. Yep, that was the reason why. All right, we are now uploading to the radio. It says CPS write and loading. And the cable's still tied up with the bread tie, so I can't do much zoomage for you. And what I'm looking for is the last time it said error here on the screen. It does not say error on the screen. So Chirp is fine. And that is because it's missing the image on the screen when it boots. So I can do that. So I turn it off, power off, turn it on, corrupted image. Let's see if a factory reset will fix that. If not, we'll put an image on it. Confirm, confirm, confirm. Please wait. Okay, I wasn't watching. I was doing something on the computer. Did we get an image? We did not get an image. So let's do menu. Radio. Thought there might have been a setting on there to do that. I don't know that I have a picture to put on here. All right, let's switch over to the software. Hey, Boink. Jim's back. Chirp worked.
Cool. So we can call that radio good?
There is a missing boot image, missing boot logo, which I am going to spend about 3.5 seconds checking on.
Yeah.
And if it's not a, put your own image on it.
Not a showstopper.
It just shows corrupted gobbledygook. Tierney, welcome. You are late. What are we doing? We are verifying that these Retevis HA1G radios work. And if they do work, they are for sale for $40. And that includes shipping. And if they don't work, then they are going in the bin. Power on, standby image. Open image or write. 160 by 128. Okay, so now I got to make a 160 by 128 image. Jim, arrange the screen so that we're not sharing the overhead anymore, and I'll just make a quick Retevis logo image.
There is no overhead on the screen.
Thank you.
There wasn't.
No, sorry, not overhead. So it's just the two of us. This, and then this. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was getting there.
And then
you said overhead. I'm like, what overhead is he talking about?
I'm just designing an image quickly in the background, so there's no reason to stare at a static screen when we can tell wonderful stories, or you can because I'm busy.
Right.
160 by 128. And I don't know what format it is, so there's that problem too. I'm going to make it a bitmap if I can. It's
So
probably
apparently,
just a plain old bitmap.
Apparently 3D printed handles for elk antennas are a thing. I have sold many of those in the last couple weeks.
Nice.
Yep. I mean,
so you're now a 3D printing shop?
Buddy prices, mostly, kind of. I just didn't know it was a thing. I mean, I've had like 4 or 5 of them in the last week or so. Tim in Guam and Kevin in Connecticut and Tom in Florida and another person in the chat asked me about it and he hasn't answered me back. But I've been printing them out of PETG glass fiber, which I only have in gray. So if that's good, then easy peasy. Or I can do it in regular. Is that because you want
lots of strength or what?
I like the PETG because when I print it, I can honk on it pretty hard and it's not breaking. So
I put the Retevis logo in a file. My graphics editor does PNG, so now I got to convert it over to
BMP probably.
Yeah, because I'm going to believe that it's a bitmap file. I mean, these older microprocessors, and it might still be the wrong format, but if this doesn't work, so be it. And I'm using Image Magic to convert the file.
Ah, there he goes. Now he's answering me. Thought he fell asleep. I mean, at his age, it could be possible. Stefan said he used JPEGs.
Okay. So I'll convert it to a JPEG too. Because I'm here at the command line. And it's easy enough to do.
Mm-hmm. Bill, listen, we're like almost the same age. At our age, my attention span is much shorter, and I'm always subject to a nap attack. So I don't know. It could happen.
Okay, let's come back over here, and let's share the screen out now that we're back.
Okay,
yeah, that's too small.
Looking. Where's that other one? That's the one I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we're back over here, and wrong mouse again. Open image on the thumb drive. And I'm going to try the JPEG file first. Why not? There we go. Right? It's writing.
Sweet.
So, well, you've learned how to do a firmware upgrade on the radio, how to fix it when the firmware upgrade goes south, how to fix the programming software issues. Factory authorized repairs. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, man.
Nice. Perfect. All right, this radio is good. Transmits, receives, puts out power. Programming, non-programming, has a programming cable. So now we got to go back through those other radios that don't have working programming and see if it's just a firmware update to fix it.
So the Mini should be here today. It now says out for delivery.
Awesome.
And my mail has not run yet, so.
That means we have a show for Monday night.
Yep.
All right, number 5 is good. So that is 2 good radios out of the set so far. We may be able to recover 2 more good radios. Okay. It's going to be really easy to figure out the one that was bad because it's got the chewed on screen. All right, so programming cable. Plug it into the computer. PTT P1, turn on. Light goes green, light goes red. We're in DFU mode. Why are you connecting? I didn't ask you to connect. It took it out of DFU mode. I didn't ask it to. Maybe I hit the key by accident. I'll blame myself on that one. And so let's go operation. Use the proper mouse. Firmware. Select the file.
Brian is wanting to know, is that tool set in your Amazon store?
Which tool set? The screwdriver set?
I assume that's what he's asking about, yeah.
Yeah, let me get you a link for it real quick. After I get this downloaded.
And Bill, I'm probably older. I think I'm older than you. I mean, we're within a year or two of each other, I'm pretty sure.
All right, she's downloading. Now I can get that screwdriver set. If it's something else, let me know and I'll find the other tool set.
Brian's got a UV Pro arriving today. It's a nice radio. It's a good value for that on that radio. I'm looking forward to the Baofeng Mini. Honestly, I just
It's a cool looking radio. It does the thing pretty well.
Yep.
The higher the number, the better the naps. That's a good positive outlook.
Right.
I'm not a napper, though. A split second after I fall asleep, some noise jolts me back to life.
I generally take a nap every day at lunch in my truck. I eat my lunch. I lean the seat back. I snooze for 20 or 30, 40 minutes every day. But only because...
All right, so go ahead.
Nothing. It's irrelevant. Move on.
All right, so the firmware has taken and the image file has been disappeared. So I'm going to write this image back to it while we're here on the right screen, because it automatically reboots the radio and puts it back into normal mode.
Normal mode.
End of write. Radio's rebooting. The image is there. Excellent. And the problem we had was solved by doing a regular read. So first we need to read.
Yep.
We're reading from the radio. And of course, now that I'm fixing all of these radios, I can't demonstrate that there was a fault if I make a video showing how to fix the fault. Because I always like to do like, this is the problem that you'll see, and then this is the solution, but I can't do that. Maybe I can just cut clips out of here. I don't know.
I was going to say, just cut some.
That's all. That's almost as much work. It's almost as much work as just doing it straight from scratch as a polished video. So we've read from the radio. Let's write to the radio. Speaking of nap time.
Yeah.
It's writing. I'm watching the screen on the radio. Wrote successfully, and there's an error on the screen. The screen says restarting. The computer doesn't say there's an error. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to do operation read. And then once I get it into write mode, I'm going to switch back to the radio overhead so we can see that. Is the overhead camera any... Well, it's not there. I can't ask if it's any better if it's not there to see.
Not really. And this camera's been just as dodgy. This screen share. It looks okay now. It just glitched again, and then it came back.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So this is weird. I might even just consider this working as normal. I don't have device manager running already, so I need to start it up. I want to verify that it's on the right COM port. Nothing changed. Because that's always a thing. Your COM port number randomly changing even though you did nothing.
Typically, it doesn't change unless you move it. If you change ports now, it will.
Exit the software. Launch the software. Connect. Read. Reading is fine. Thanks for ordering that, Brian. You guys don't pay anything extra, and we get a little commission on the back end for recommending it. W0MET24 has had these for about a year, and they are really decent radios. Yep. We're going to do... Let's look at channel list real quick. Okay, it's telling me there's no tones. I'm going to put a tone on GMRS channel 1 on the receive. So there that is. And then we will write. And we're writing. And the radio believes it is writing. It says CPS write and loading underneath of it.
You know, if that didn't say Islands on the front of it, I would absolutely think that was a Motorola radio.
Yeah. So we got an error on the screen. Let's go into menu, channel, channel 1. And there's our tone.
US Nell says, happy Saturday. He's been a member for 1 month. Stephen
Happy
Stefan,
Saturday
I
to you.
don't know.
Stephanus. Sure.
Stephanus. Okay, I'll go with that.
So I'm taking the tone off. We'll write it again without the tone. The tone did show up. And we're writing again. Which one of us pronounced your name properly? I guess we all figured it out.
Well, I didn't think it was Stephen. Some people spell Stephen with the E-P-H-E-N, and I thought that's Stefan.
Those
Stephanus.
Okay. Let's switch back to the Sky Eye.
Oh,
and we have removed the tone.
You got it.
Yep, and these can be converted over to ham use. So tell me something, W0MET24, on your radio, when you do a write to the radio from the CPS, do you get an error on the screen or do you not get an error on the screen? Is this perfectly normal behavior? And the CTCSS is gone. And I just changed it with I was trying to do the arrow and I did the dial. So it's gone. So it's writing properly. It's just giving me an error saying that it's unhappy with it for some reason. And we did the firmware update on this radio first. And it's 101.13.001, which is the current September 1st, 2025 version of this radio. So I think this is going to be like the RT95 where it's advertised as a 25 watt radio, but really only puts out 20 watts. So I'm not considering this a total loss, but there is a minor bugaboo. Oh, let's try Chirp. See if it complains when you chirp it. So I'm going to say that 4 out of 5 radios are fine, and the 5th radio was definitely user error. That's the one where the dog chewed on it, and he returned it. The ability to return a product is not an insurance policy. All right, let's exit this software and launch Chirp. Radio download. All that looks good. Okay. I think I have to turn the radio on in order to download from it. Whoops. That's my mistake. And we're reading. Okay. I want to say an error might have popped up, but they worked. Yeah. So he's agreeing that there's the same problem that we have. Okay. So channel 1, let's do the same thing. Let's put a tone on it. 67 hertz. Tone mode is tone. And then radio. Upload to radio. And then upload. And we're writing. Okay. That's the wrong button. Come back to life. I just activated the screensaver on my computer. So it says CPS write loading. And we're waiting to see if there's an error. Because the error shows up here now. It doesn't complain in the software. Before it showed up here and then it complained in the software after the software said it was successful. So that says restarting fine. No error. So now I'm going to try the Retevis software again. Just because I'm a glutton for punishment. No, I don't want to save it.
It makes you kind of think it's a glitch in the Retevis software.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed with this.
Yeah.
So we're reading. Bill, I totally remember that. They've eased up on that a lot now. And if you go to Walmart, it's actually really easy. You don't need the receipt. You just give them the credit card you think you bought it with, and they're like, yep, we found it. Here you go. And then they send the money back. Channel list. Let's take that tone off. Well, so we read and the tone did show up there. Let's double check on the screen. Chirp was able to successfully write the tone.
Perfect.
So Chirp had 0 errors and actually worked. Retevis software had actually worked but had an error. So I'm going to take the tone and turn it off again. And then we're going to write to the radio. Switch over to the overhead. And we're loading. Restarting, no error. Okay, problem solved. That's another good radio.
Awesome.
Actually, I can't see it. So I need to do it one more time from the software so I can see the software side of it. I can't see my Windows computer when I'm using the overhead because I'm doing screen capture on the Windows computer. I don't have a screen plugged into it. But I think it's going to be fine.
You know, Bill was talking about return policies. Y'all ever bought anything from Radio Shack back in the day? Radio Shack's return policies required a blood oath, filling out documentation. Perfect. No errors. Sweet. And every time you bought something, they wanted your phone number, and they were probably one of the worst for tracking stuff back in the 80s and 90s.
So Dave is headed out to winterize his RV. Yes, the best way to winterize your RV is to take it to a campsite in the southwestern side of the United States.
To be fair, the southern part of the United States, because you barely have to do it here either.
As long as there's no freezing temperatures. And I have camped when there's snow on the ground. So it's totally doable. There's a way to do it so it doesn't harm the RV. Keep the heat on inside. That stops the pipes from freezing. And then on the outside part of things, keep your water tank full, because it's really hard to freeze 40 gallons of water with an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of 30-degree temperatures.
Yeah. It gets below freezing here, but generally it'll get below freezing overnight, but typically during the day it's already above 30 before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so this radio here is fine. P for programming problem. It's 3. This is the chewed up dented one. I'm going to steal the programming cable out of it. And the battery. Because one of these radios has a dead battery. It might have been this one. Okay, yep. That's the one with the bad screen. Gone. And then this is the one that had no programming cable. So again, these radios are for sale, and I'm asking $40, which is cheaper than the price on Retevis.com, and I'm including shipping in it. PayPal, friends, and family. All the info for that is in the description below. Plug that in. So now I need to load up the software. And I'm going to close this because I changed the radio out from underneath of it. Where's my mouse? And then we'll open it back up again. Radio is off. Watch that be a problem. You know, this music is supposed to be purely AI generated, and for background music, it's great. COM7. Model is HA1G. Path to the firmware file is right there, 13.
Storm's radio, the desktop feed is a little blurry.
Okay, this is the dead battery.
Make sure you dispose of that properly in a government-approved manner.
All right, we are in DFU mode, device firmware update mode. And
That's not what I call it.
Is it PG?
Nope. Done fouled up.
Stefando. Yeah, I don't know. DO1ASS, is that your call sign? You could hit the HTs pretty hard. That would work. They would work still after you did that. Tested on the HA1UV version, some minor scratches. Yeah, this is the rugged model. It's supposed to be waterproof. They've got video footage of driving over it with a car, dropping it in a fish tank. They did a live stream where they put it in the tank of water for like half an hour and it still worked.
That is Stefan.
So what's the DO1ASS?
That's
and
his call sign.
Rebooted, and it had the corrupted screen. So DO, what country does it say it is, Jim?
It's Germany.
Germany? So that was my call. Yeah, awesome. That last 3 letters of your call sign, you probably know what that means in the US. All right, firmware update was fine, and she rebooted, but she lost her image. So now I need to... And the red light is on the radio again after the firmware update over there. So we turn the radio off, turn it back on. Corrupted screen. So we'll fix the screen. Oh, that's why. I get it. Novice license. Well, welcome to the hobby. Probably been in for a while. Welcome to the channel, because I don't recognize the YouTube alias. We're going to put the new image on the screen so it says something. And we used the JPEG last time. Can we use the bitmap? Will that work? That looks crappy. The bitmap looks worse than the JPEG does. It's trying to write it. We'll see if the bitmap works. Does he have his own YouTube channel? End of right. Oh yeah, the bitmap works. The bitmap looks fine on the radio. Okay. So now let's see if we have a write error like we did before on the other radio, which we then fixed. I don't even know what I'm writing. I meant to change a channel, but it does, I don't need to change the channel to prove this. So we are writing. No error on this. Oh, no, there is an error on the radio. No error on the computer screen. Okay. So now in order to fix this, we need to use Chirp. Yeah, no, that's better. So we'll close out of this software.
I'm trying to slash dot Stefan's YouTube channel.
What's his YouTube channel name? I saw you drop the link, but what's the actual name?
DO1ASS ham radio and more.
And more.
Well, he's got one new sub. There's two because I just hit it.
Nice. PRK Radio subbed. Awesome. And go sub PRK Radio's channel also.
Yes.
I'm going to get it wrong. Is that
that's
Jimmy James? Jimmy James.
You know, it's hard being a James because we have like 3 names.
All right, we're reading. And this is the fix when you get the CPS from Ilunts. The fix is to read it into Chirp, write it back out into Chirp. Which might have been the same read-write. Let's check that out real quick. I may have already... I can't imagine I did. I'm going to check it out real quick. Jim's solution, because I don't think we did that specifically.
No, we didn't.
Which is read from the radio, then write to the radio.
I'm trying to find PRK's YouTube channel.
You can do at PRK_radio. That should pull it up. That's not the name of his channel. That's his YouTube handle. So let's do
PRK Radio. Let's see what we get.
So Jim's solution, which worked perfectly, was to read from the radio after the firmware update and then write to the radio after the firmware update. And I might have missed that in all the excitement. So I'm going back to do that real quick if I still can. And then we will write what we wrote back out.
And y'all go subscribe to PRK too, in another tab.
Yeah, I'll miss you if you disappear. Yeah, and there's no error. Okay, so these are all working.
It's all a procedure.
4 out of 4. And let's do Chirp just because we can.
And if y'all haven't paid attention, Steve mentioned this like, I don't know, 3 days ago when this stream started. I'm doing FT8 over here on 15 meters, and Europe and the US are wide open. I'm blowing up the continent this morning. YouTube, I mean blowing up as in making a lot of contacts. Calm down, YouTube.
Upload to radio and upload.
I have high confidence
Chirp is writing fine.
Blast right through this, yeah.
Yep. Wasn't there a D structure with this? Yes, there was.
I think we're actually longer than D-Star because we're at 2 hours and 50 minutes so far.
No errors. Yep, perfect. All the radios work.
Excellent.
Except for the one that got chewed, and that one probably still works too.
Yeah, well, you can't see the screen, and it's missing half the plastic, and
spent the groceries and half the rent.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. And we're done. So 4 out of 5 radios, and the 5th radio wasn't Retevis' fault. So that's 10 out of 10 for the RT95 repairs that I had to do. They were all fine. The radios were shipped in the wrong region, so they wouldn't transmit properly on 70 centimeters, but a quick 3-finger salute on those got that fixed. I did that I demonstrated what that salute was, and then those all moved out the door. All the MB1s, the CB radios that can convert over to higher powered ham radios, I do air quotes because higher power is kind of relative. It's like 4 watts to 8 watts instead of 4 watts to 100 watts. They all worked fine. The mod to get them to ham mode was pretty easy. Those are still for sale. I still have some of them for sale. They come with antennas. Let's check this out. Do I have the USB cable handy? See if this battery will charge. So I'm plugging in a C to C. I'm trying to show the overhead camera. The overhead camera's not there anymore. C to C and seeing if that'll work. This usually doesn't work. And it does not. This battery was attempted to be charged. Then I need
Brian
A
is
to
working
C.
on his general, and Jimmy
Awesome,
PRK
Brian.
is working on his extra.
Y'all got this? The included charging cable. With that.
Y'all go check
not
out
gonna-
Ham Radio Prep. Use code FEP Labs for a discount.
And she's charging. So that's a good battery. That's worth an extra $5 right there.
You know, it's, and I haven't studied this to figure this out exactly because I don't care that much. But it's interesting. Some things, for example, the mics I use in my shop apparently care very much about what USB-C power brick they're plugged into.
Yep.
Same cable, different brick, doesn't work. Change the brick, works fine. Brick works fine for other stuff that needs USB-C. So I guess it's probably a power delivery thing. I don't know. I love USB-C because it doesn't take me 3 tries to put it in the hole correctly, like it does with USB-A. But man, there's like 70,000 standards for USB-C. It's so annoying.
All right. And so USB-C, even though you can universally plug it in upside down and right side up, there is some cable issues. Normally it doesn't matter, but I've run into some stuff here recently where it does. I had a power station, one of those small bricks that's got the USB ports all over it. And I could plug my phone in and it said analog device not supported and it wouldn't charge. And then I got these little USB-C to USB-C unions. So it's 2 female USB-C ports, which I think technically are male. When you plug that in, then it does the whole on-the-go thing, and it works fine. And I've got one where you can plug the cable in right side up on one end and either direction on the other, and it works, or right side up or upside down on that end, and then either direction doesn't work.
And Chad is a new subscriber, and he's been binging on us. Thank you, Chad.
Tested a few weeks back.
And he
so is
can't get
that
his
your
call sign.
technician to upgrade, or are you not a technician yet? Because there's a difference to that. If you
There's a loophole.
if
Chad.
you're doing
There's
the
a loophole.
technician direct from zero, then you can't do anything until your call sign is approved and given to you because you don't have a call sign yet. If you're going from tech to general or from general to extra, you can use your tech call and stroke AG acting general, stroke AE acting extra, and get on the air and use your new privileges. It's a weird thing. There's a bunch of really crazy loopholes like that. Not a tech yet. Okay, cool. Well, congratulations, welcome, and we will see you on the air soon. So again, these are Retevis repair radios. These are the HA1Gs. I have the HA1UV, which will now be able to repair faster because I know all the tricks. Those are for sale as well. These are $40. The UV is a little more expensive, I think. My link to my for sale page is in the description down below. If you want one of these, let me know. These are GMRS radios. They can be converted to ham radio, and they are rugged, waterproof, etc., etc. $40 includes shipping.
I mean, I think that's a killer deal. If I didn't already have 17 HTs I don't use, I would buy one from you. Especially
and then if nobody gets these, I'll stick them out on eBay.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was talking that the HA1G converted to ham slightly emotionally better than the HA1UV already being ham. And I don't remember his reason for it. I was running through videos the other day. So if any of y'all want one of these, let me know. Send me an email. Send me a message on the Discord. Send me an APRS message, which I probably won't get because I don't have my APRS radio turned on. And we'll get these radios out into your hot little hands, or the MB1 or the HA1UV. I think I have an HA1, which is a DMR radio. Yeah, and then anything else that comes across the desk. I've got another radio, Radtel, that somebody sent in, a viewer sent in, saying, this doesn't work. I don't want it back because I can't repair. Like my profit margin on these radios is like $5. I don't want to repair radios for the public because it gets too expensive, too personal. If you can't repair it yourself, it's usually not worth repairing somewhere else. You know, if it was $1,000 radio and I charged you $200, $50 an hour, it took me 4 hours to fix it. It would be worth it to me at that income level, but it wouldn't be worth it to you to spend $500 to fix $1,000 radio.
Right. Aloysius, you don't need the government to get your VE.
No,
because that's going to be through a VEC, and that ain't the government.
I will hook you up, brother. We have a link for that.
I figured we did.
Find it. Yeah. And basically you go to this website and you fill out the little form, and it says, who is your
ham tools, right?
Who's your Elmer? Who's your mentor? And you put down Jim, WT1W, or you put down me, KM9G, or you put down anybody else that you know as a VE. And you're good to go. So there's the link. Become a VE.
Is that for GLARG or
that's for
ARRL? Yeah, we're both VEs in, at least I think we are.
Yeah.
I know GLARG, and I'm an ARRL VE, and I thought you were too. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm also Laurel as well, but I haven't tested anybody with Laurel or ARRL because there's just nobody in the area. And if you show up to a Hamfest and you want to be a helpful VE, understand that they've probably brought more people than they need. And hams, some of y'all have a grace problem. No, we don't need your help. As opposed to, oh, that's wonderful, but we do have 25 people here sitting as volunteer examiners and we're all filled up,
Yeah.
Hams usually don't have manners like that. So if they're grumpy, it's because they're grumpy old men.
There are a lot of us that lack, as we say here in the South, that lack home training.
Yeah. Social grace.
That's a good one.
Well, that's the end of the stream, and we got to the end of that, and these guys are for sale, and links in the description, and y'all are awesome. Jim, thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning in church on his channel.
Absolutely. See, I let the balloons go. It was so awesome.
Yes. I'm hitting the button.
9 a.m. tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.